Okay, we got this.
Oh.
Hello, welcome to the... Oh, God, it's too high pitch. Hello, welcome to the 40K Spice Center. I'm your host, Rob, joined by my three co-hosts, John, Tom, and Logan Summer.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. John, how are you? Are you well?
Yeah, really good. I got travel sick so bad from being on a bus yesterday that I had to sleep for 2 hours. So I'm rock and roll, man. Rock and roll.
Okay, well, good. I want to catch up with you more in a minute. Tom, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I got in about an hour ago, and as I did, the content that we're going to be covering today was on my doorstep. So I'm even happier now that I've actually got the thing that we're going to be talking about. It's going to be great.
Tyranids. Okay, excellent. And Logan Summer, how are you? Oh no, he's not going to talk to me. Yes, that's right. If you haven't
What's
been
he
keeping
done?
track, at the start of lockdown, Logan joined us for some streams and slowly over the course of time has become a regular co-host, which I'm very happy about. And then, since that has begun, started painting a unit of Vanguard veterans over 2 years ago. And now, Logan, where are we up to? What was funny was you were like, I'm on it. 9th edition's landed. I've got the Vanguard vets. They're way cheaper. Everyone's talking about Eradicators, you're idiots. Vanguard vets. And now, like, a year later, yeah, you're like, shit. Did not capitalize on that. Anyway, it's lovely to have everyone here. Oh, no.
Oh, am I muted?
No, I saw it now. You were, but you're not now.
Haters.
I know. I did that on purpose. Maybe everyone's muted. No one's muted. You can hear him now. Logan, do you want to say hello to the chat?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm just going to take my stream off mute and check now.
Yeah, I just did the same. We can hear everyone.
I
trust
promise
me.
you, I fixed it. I fixed it. Just...
I can
We
hear
don't have an
myself.
idiot in charge this
If
week.
you
so
can
it's
keep
fine.
telling us, vote chat, because we don't see the first 6 or 7 times someone says muted, but the 8th time we'll get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we get T-shirts with names for all the hosts? Yes. What a fantastic idea. We were talking about that.
No, we can only get the Logan Summer t-shirts available at all Redbubble shops, which is the one shop online, I think.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I get
I
one in
have-
Comic Sans that just says it, but in like yellow writing on a blue t-shirt?
I think the most important thing we can
Please.
get is the Falcon t-shirt. I think that's got to be a priority. And then
Oh
after
my
that,
God.
we can move everything else on.
We should 100% get a Falcon t-shirt before Stat Center can get one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mate, and then
Yes.
file for copyright immediately.
Should we just get... Should we
Yeah.
get like a winter? Should we get like a winter shirt? Just different 40K content creating shirts.
Oh, there is an update on that though, Rob. Okay.
Okay.
So Winters played a battle report with the guy who came second. Okay, and they played for
Oh,
sorry,
wow.
specifically at where?
at Mikey's. At
Gibraltar
the
GT.
SNGT that was held with, and Winters stomped it with his Dark Angels. Okay,
Yeah, he's a stomping machine.
and Winters has lost his unofficial best player in the world belt
What? Who to?
to Mikey of Hellstorm Wargaming.
No way.
Yeah,
What a try.
I'm gonna have to drive all the way over there, 20 minutes north, and get it back and deliver it to Winters' house.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. We stand
So
winners.
you're going to go over and challenge Mike. You're going to bring the brief,
Yeah.
run in with the briefcase
Yeah,
and
but the
challenge
problem
Mikey.
is I can't do it until...
and then you're going to go and play Winters again,
and I'll
get the finger
intentionally
poke of
lose.
doom.
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
although it won't really matter.
100
If I
100 to
intentionally or
10.
unintentionally lose, I'll still lose to Winters because he's the best player in the world, of course. But
Yes.
the problem is I can't do it yet, lads. I need your help to go and
Oh,
take the belt off Mikey, okay?
why? What do
I
we
need
need to do?
everyone to go into the Warhammer TV chat tomorrow and spam Craft World's Codex drop so that I can get the Craft World's Codex and beat Mikey with it.
It's leaked. It's out. It's
Apparently,
online.
it?
you don't even need a
Okay.
new codex to win with Craft
I mean, I don't, but it would just to shore up the entire situation. I need the new Craft World's Codex.
The best players in the world
Lost to Manny with
probably.
it.
Was that can't have been this weekend? That wasn't this weekend, right?
No, but we actually did get a new Meta Watch this week. And it
We
was
did.
better.
I've got it on the screen if
Oh,
you want
do
to
you?
talk about
Oh,
it. Yeah.
that was the best segue we've ever done, and it was not at all planned.
Wasn't even planned.
Look
Yeah,
at
I
that.
got-
These people think we've got a run of show and stuff.
Yeah.
I bet they.
I
Yeah.
need to just go past the fake James Workshop.
What is this? Last week we did. Last week we had
Here we go.
talking points. We segued quite well last week, I think. Like last week we segued well.
This poor fella is dressed as a guardsman at the top, by the way.
What in this article? I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this. So
It's
you
cool
might-
as fuck. But
You guys might not have seen, but on the stat show on Monday, there was an Age of Sigmar event where only 7 people attended. Unfortunately, it was the
Oh,
FLG. So the new.
Does that qualify as a super major for AOL?
All right, let's keep it down.
was it an opener
shall
or
we?
invitational?
Right.
Was it an
Oh
invitational?
my
Of only the
god.
7 best players in the world, or was it just 7 dudes that showed up?
It was just 7 dudes that turned up. It was the FLG.
Excellent.
So they had the New Orleans Open this weekend, I think, or something.
Yes,
Right?
something
They
like that.
did something like that. So they had the New Orleans event, and at the New Orleans event, only 7 Age of Sigmar players turned up. But the important point was, is a sub 30% win rate army took the event out, and arguably the best content I've ever produced appeared from that event. But this relates to what you guys were saying, and specifically the guardsman that we're seeing on screen right now, because, and this is super important. This is, oh no, where is it? Screenshot. This is the comment that was left. Hey Rob, I was at the New Orleans Open. I played against Sid Skaven player at the top table. He is very skilled at what he does. He was wearing a giant cheese hat. I basically tabled him, aside from Thankwall. But he was able to score more objective points than me. I wouldn't discount the info. Weirdly, I discounted the info, but I loved the comment. And what I was thinking is, why do more people not do fancy dress at events? That's what I wanted to ask.
This man should be embarrassed though, for one simple fact.
Why?
He obviously doesn't own an iron. Look at his fucking fatigues. He would have been shot by a commissar just for that.
That's not. Yeah, that's not passing.
There's also
muster,
one
is
other
it?
thing that's missing, Scrivo. I don't know if it's because of event protocols, but he doesn't have a fixed bayonet.
It just makes me uncomfortable.
Although I love
someone dressed as a guardsman.
So many creases on that top, man.
Terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, he's clearly been leaning over a lot of tables. To be fair, the table height was probably quite high.
He's not even got it tucked in at the front.
Do you? What's his name? Dirk. Is this guy called Dirk?
I don't know, but I don't know. It's still pretty cool. Like he's put a good effort.
It's
in,
impressive.
Right?
It's very impressive. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I think. I think he looks cute as shit.
That's some good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Foam. It's good. Some good foam body armor work.
Yeah.
Also, you can see the Age of Sigmar event in the background kicking off.
Just that one guy.
with those Sylvaneth Wildwoods and those.
I think the overlooked part in that
essentially
comment, Rob,
cardboard
is
boxes.
the fact that he thought that you need to know about the cheese hat for your stats review.
Mate,
It's like
that's what I was
100% win
saying.
rate with cheese hats, dude.
I kind of want to see you come in like a full weeb outfit playing Eldar. Like I'm really down for that.
Right,
Like,
buy
I
me,
wanna-
buy me a Sailor Moon costume, and I will wear it to Sheffield.
no!
I will wear it to Sheffield Slaughter and run Kragnos around.
Well, no, that's not the same. I want some Eldar boys. I want some Eldar
Remind
boys.
me after the show is finished about Sailor Moon cosplay.
Okay.
It's not for the show.
Isn't there that really muscly guy that like sings heavy metal dressed as Sailor Moon? Basically,
That's me.
as well.
Who?
It's like it's called Lady Baby or something. It's a metally looking guy, massive muscles, dressed as like Sailor Moon, with 2 little Japanese girls singing with him, and he's like growling along.
Really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, super cool.
Okay. All right.
I'll send you
Excellent. When is the like it doesn't matter. Anyway, MetaWatch article. I was just going to ask when the fancy dress a 40K
We went adjacent
crossover
very
world.
quickly.
Can I put something in the WhatsApp and completely derail the
I will
the
close
Sure.
WhatsApp, but please put it in
conversation.
there. Because I know what's going to happen if I read something out of WhatsApp.
So this obviously can't be repeated.
Okay. Well, we're not ever looking at that again.
Oh no! Oh no!
How did it even fit in there?
Oh no!
The fellow
no.
in this
Yeah.
Ladybeard, there you go.
is someone that I know.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm out.
God.
I'm out. Right. So the MetaWatch, the MetaWatch article has some new things. That we've seen new layouts.
We have.
for-
Barely.
Interestingly, it turns out that if you just have a very simple, straight fire lane as a cross piece in the center, it's not that good. Who
Are
would have
those
predicted?
new? They look the
I
same.
think- Are they not the same?
They
No,
look
that's
the
the
same.
same ones I've used for
Yeah, they're
the
the
last
same.
couple of events.
Okay. Okay. All right. But the important point was, I think the key feature here that I want to address with you guys is several trends were illustrated at Austin GT. Not all the events taken in, but specifically Austin. And that was Drukhari performed slightly better than before.
Now, scroll down. Do it. Come on, show us the bar chart. Show us the bar chart. Come
Bar
on,
chart.
Rob. Come on,
There
buddy.
you go.
Now we know why they angled them.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff.
Okay.
It looks less of a distance because they've angled it, Rob.
I mean, at least it's under 75.
Well, I said this on a previous stream earlier in the week, and I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion. Why does it start at 0 and go to 100? Why don't they start at 30?
Because
and
it would look way worse. Also, you can never discount the possibility of a win rate going over 70%.
Well, okay, but like,
Or going below 30.
Wasn't Daughters of Cain in Age of Sigmar 2 at like 70 something?
Yeah, exactly.
But you could do you could do 20 to 80, and you'd knock off 40%.
That
right?
sounds like a challenge, Rob. We need to get an 80+% win rate army.
Oh,
I think it's.
That's Craftworld.
I think
Here
it's
it comes.
probably just
We're
easier
ready.
to float it up.
Boom.
what you say, Logan?
I think it's just probably easier to throw it up like this. I don't mind it like this either. It's the slant is what I have the biggest problem with. The slant is the thing that really grinds.
It's
my
hiding.
gears.
Should we describe this bar chart for the podcast bros?
Oh yeah, go for it.
So basically, we've got this bar chart on the Warhammer community article. You can take a look at it after you listen to the show if you like. And Drukhari's win rate is somewhere around the 65%. I want to say it's difficult to tell with a slanty bar chart. And then the next highest is Custodes.
That's why they
I
do
like
it,
how
baby.
they didn't put the numbers next to it. It's
Yeah,
just
I feel like that's intentional.
You have to
Yeah.
guesstimate.
I'm looking at the next one, and Custodes looks like it's a good 10% lower than the Drukhari one.
Yeah, which is the next highest
I
one.
would say that Custodes is below. So we've got 50.
I think it's at 60. There's because if it's 65-ish for Drukhari,
I would say it's below 60, but only just.
only just.
Yeah.
What, the win rate?
What?
Oh, for Custodians.
Custodes. It's difficult to tell though. Also, it is worth
It's
noting.
intentionally.
Such a
So-
bad way of showing the data.
While we're here as
It's-
well, they said that they've taken a huge amount of data. So they've taken about 2,000 games here. Now, if you actually look at the factions represented, yeah, I know. Yeah, stop laughing, Scribber.
Sorry.
If you look at the factions
God.
represented here, you've got Space Marines, you've got Space Wolves, you've got Death Watch,
Blood Angels,
you've got Blood Angels, Dark Angels, but I can't see Iron Hands, which is weird as a European. I can't see Salamanders. I can't
No
see
White Scars is
Ultramarines,
really
and I
weird.
can't see
No,
White
Scars
Scars.
is really-
So they've taken the 2,000 games. but
Okay,
some
so I can see what they've done. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what they've done. Yeah. What they've done is they have included only
the 9th edition
the
supplements.
Space Marine supplements.
From
yes,
the
they're
9th
in
edition
9th.
ones, not the 8th edition ones. Okay. So they've included the 8th edition
So-
ones under the Space Marine banner, but the 9th edition ones that they want to sell. And
What's Dark Angels, Space Wolves,
That's
and
weird.
Death Watch. But no Black Templars yet.
Black Templars
Obvious.
aren't there
No,
'cause there's not
no,
enough data,
yeah.
obviously.
Well, it's
And
not
also, I
any
haven't
out
really seen
yet.
anyone really pick up Black Templars yet. I'm kind of curious, but hey, we'll see.
Apparently, they're the best Space Marine chapter. Is all the chatter from the allegedly best players in the world.
Oh, nice.
So,
That's good. That's good. That's
That's
good for
what
those people.
yeah, I look forward to.
Well, don't you worry about it. I
No.
played. So I'm going to catch up with everyone now. I'm going to catch up with everyone, see how everyone's been. We'll talk about the Meta Watch article more
Can
in a
I
second.
just say,
Yeah?
whilst we've still got this
Oh,
graphic
do it,
up,
do it, do it.
it's hilarious to me that Grey Knights, Orcs, and Chaos have the same win rate.
It feels not right, doesn't it?
Yes. And
That is a good
and,
point.
And,
yeah, Grey Knight should
and
be way
given
higher, at
that
least.
this statistics takes into account all of the events. Is this only Austin?
This is only Austin.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah.
And AdMech only probably like 51%.
Fixed it, boys. They fixed it.
Crazy.
Necrons,
The
though.
game's fixed.
Have you rotated it in
We
MS
did
Paint?
scroll all the way past the go first win rate that proves the game is perfectly
Well, no,
balanced.
I'll go back to it. Well, let's
yes.
go back and look at this because it's worth looking about. So it's nice to see the meta is very healthy. Some other trends that were illustrated. Drukhari performed slightly better than before.
Wonder why.
Orcs performed well, but not as well as Orlando. Okay. Adeptus Mechanicus were not as dominant as at prior events. Okay. Imperial and Chaos Knights performed very well, including a top bracket.
That's embarrassing as fuck, by the way.
Including a top bracket showing by the latter. Well, this is all the stuff that they've done in the data slate, right? So they're trying to say, look, we've done the data slate. Let's see how it's affected.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then Chaos Space...
Is this part of someone's like personal kind of development review for the end of the year, where they're like, look, we did this thing, we fixed this, give me some extra money? That's what this feels like to me.
Like his KPIs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really, really happy to see that the buffs that they gave Necrons just work wonders for the faction.
Yeah, that core was really the problem, man. I mean, it is a bit of a placebo, right? Though, and we said that when the Necron thing dropped. It's definitely a placebo, so it'd be good to see how it does. But yeah, we can go through the Drakari thing in a little bit more detail. I want to talk about the Knights a little bit as well, though. It definitely does improve. It definitely does improve Knights, but I think the fact that it made top bracket is embarrassing. Not the fact that Knights improved. I think Knights definitely are better.
I think the good thing for Knights as well is it improves the build that people already take.
Yeah.
Necrons. Yeah. I can understand what. I mean, I'm memeing a bit, and I can understand why the Necrons have like a 35% win rate, because you're going to have to completely reevaluate the entire faction based on the core changes, which is still probably not going to be enough. But it's not 35% win rate bad. Yeah.
Well, while we're there, I'll quickly finish up on the Knights, then we'll move down to the kind of low win rate factions. Though you'll find it just is one of those things where I think we're a gatekeeper faction, and if they're making it into the top 8 of your tournament, I think that's a problem for your overall meta, and it's a good indicator of how competitive it is as a field. When we're looking at the Necrons, I think you're absolutely right on the rebuilding them up from the ground up, but I think the Chaos Space Marines need it way more. Because it's not even just that they have a low win rate, but how do you even write a list for this faction? There are so many sources sprawling out all over the place, it's almost impossible, as far as I'm concerned. I would have to pull out like a dozen books and then work out which ones I'm missing at this point. For Chaos Space Marines, then I need to work out what's legended. It's just such a bloated overall faction, but it's actually a chore writing a list, even more so than any other faction. So you end up with only one trick.
I don't want to be a dick about it, but I actually played Chaos Space Marines this week, or against them, in my game of 40k.
Yeah. Was it a guy who only plays Chaos Space Marines?
Yeah, Declan.
How many chainsaws?
That's very weird.
He's great. He's fantastic. We had a great game of 40k. I had a lovely time.
My point is that no one's going to go to a tournament or sign up for a tournament and think, you know what, I fancy playing Chaos Space Marines just for one event, because the amount of effort you have to go to just to make a legal army is insane with that.
Well, what I liked about Declan is Declan's like, I've got a World Eater army. I was like, yes. Basically, I only signed my Orc army up to play against other melee armies, and we just fucking melee in the middle, basically. To be fair, he had two...
You just want to fight,
he
boys.
He had 2 Leviathan Dreads, but I fucking murdered those fucking tank bots early doors, which is super important. The Go First win rate as well. Let's go talk about that. At the top, because it's been fixed. It's exactly 50%, right, as the overall. Okay, well, no, that's the overall from the rounds. So first round, second round, the Go First win rate wasn't as high. Rounds 4, 5, 6, it was a little bit above high. Obviously, no actual number. There's just a line. And then round 7, 8, it was below. And so overall, 50% win rate. So they fixed it, boys. They fixed the Go First win rate, which is...
So wait a minute, how... Wasn't round 8 the final?
Yes.
Wasn't it an elimination bracket, or am I wrong?
I think it was elimination bracket, yeah.
So how can you have a 50% win rate of Go First in the final?
I don't know. Maybe because they...
It's either 100 or 0. There was one game.
But maybe they had the players play the semi, like the not semi-final, but
third and fourth playoff.
Yeah. So
that's why I was asking if it was elimination or not, because sometimes they just don't do it. I know normally they do when it's a bracketed and you have to carry on playing.
Darren reckons it's because they're all useless, and we've lost Tom, which is sad.
Tom looks really concerned.
Yeah,
he's just really concerned. Look, he's just staring at these stats.
So
just
Rob,
very perturbed.
Yeah.
So you're telling us that they've fixed the win rate, like going first.
Yep, it's fixed.
On these current current missions, and they're going to go release a new mission pack to screw it all up again.
Yeah, John, but they've already thought of this through. Don't worry, and they're going to nail it. So I'm keen. I'm super keen for this. Right?
We'll see.
They're gonna absolutely smash it. These terrain maps are pretty funny as well, and also surely
They're horrible to play on.
Huh?
They're horrible to play on.
What are, sorry?
The perspex maps.
How come?
Oh, they're good.
Because the perspex and the terrain just slide around each other. It's like
Oh, as in physically.
yeah, it's physically awkward. You just move the terrain, and basically you could just have those perspex blobs and just go, we don't need terrain, job done.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
basically what they were doing in a lot of the video. Like you were watching, like Manny would just pick up a bit of ruins to move their stuff, and then put it back because it didn't almost matter at that stage. It
Really?
was, you're either terrain or not.
Well, it does when you're touching it because you've still got true line of sight
Yeah.
when you're touching it.
But you know what I mean? Like the whole interaction of it, it's like there's a wall of it after that.
It's
doesn't
definitely
really
an
matter.
abstraction.
Yeah. It just takes a little bit
Which
of the
I
kind
don't
of
mind, to be honest with you. True line of sight's really a bit wanky.
it doesn't give any. It's either you're in or you're not, and I kind of like that. There's none of that ambiguity of like, can I see there? It's like if it touches any of that perspex, it's there.
What, you can see it,
Sorted.
but you can't see it.
You can't see it. If you're going through the perspex at all,
So,
there's
so
nothing.
you don't
can't
like the
see
So
it.
map,
that's
or
what I
you
like.
do?
I like.
Yeah.
You don't like the
just
map,
feels-
or you do? Yeah.
John, which one? Do you like it or not like it?
I like the way it isn't ambiguous. I just also don't like the way that it becomes so black and white there isn't any kind of the terrain almost doesn't matter at that stage. It could just be cardboard walls.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean.
Like, why make that pretty terrain and it not matter? It's that weird kind of.
Look,
It's the whole kind of. I don't know. It just,
the problem is making pretty terrain
isn't practical.
with true line of sight makes the game really complicated to play.
Mhm.
If
Agreed.
the shape of your terrain doesn't matter and you're doing abstractions,
Yeah.
you can have terrain that looks amazing with all kinds of beautiful windows and battled and shapes and stuff. When it's true line of sight, that's why we have L-shaped ruins with no windows in, because it really, really makes a difference. Whereas when you would do abstractions and you're like, if it goes, if the line of sight goes through this, it doesn't matter if there's a dink out of the window, if your weapon's poking out the corner, if there's a hole here where a bullet hole has been drilled through for effect, I can say no, it doesn't matter, and it makes it a lot more straightforward to play. So I like that about it, but perspex squares definitely look shit.
Oh, it's obnoxious to play on. It slides.
I'm not.
Even if you don't mean to, not the terrain it goes.
Okay, if we can all agree that the terrain looks shit, I want to kind of get into a little bit about what makes terrain practical, right? Because I think there are two things. One of which you've already touched on, Logan, which is it needs to be like functional to use and make sense to use, right? The second thing is that when you're looking at a board, if I were to take all the terrain off, the game's still the same. It just changes the dynamic of how the game operates, right? So the question is, whatever kind of terrain you're going to have, it's just going to move the goalposts around in terms of what's good in the game. The question then is, well, what kind of a game do you want to play? Like with this map that we see GW using, we've already seen like armies of Renown and AdMech do quite well on it. We've seen double Hiveguard or Hiveguard builds do quite well on it as well, because you can push them quite far forward, screen out enough, and still reach enough of the board that you can able to hit all four ruins. And that's the kind of game that you get when you play with this style of board. Now, is that the most fun that you can have on the table? Then maybe, I don't know. If you think it is, then you probably like the setup, if you think it's practical. But the same with like Planet Bowling Ball, you're going to end up with less indirect line of sight shooting, but it's going to create a different gaming experience. So what defines a good board is firstly practicality, and secondly what kind of a gaming experience it creates, and what kind of a gaming experience you enjoy is always going to, well, I say it's always going to be subjective, but that's not entirely true.
I mean, it certainly leads the meta as well.
Yeah,
When we
100%.
When we just had a bunch of WTC heavy terrain boards, it was just infantry bouncing
Yeah.
from ruins to ruins.
Yeah, fly
and
was
very
super
good for
valuable.
assault.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, anything with fly that was infantry that could just go straight through walls, over walls, over, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Now you've got this where out of line of sight shooting is very prevalent. That's why flyers needed to get looked at in general.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it definitely leads to the meta, and you can just. I think it's good now that we have some distinct different types of terrain, because then we can at a high level get a feel for where the game goes with these different types of terrain. Because you've got WTC,
what's consistent.
Oh, one
and
second.
I guess
Sorry.
four.
For some reason, it just randomly echoes for like a second. I don't know why. It's just. I did nothing.
It's to enunciate the point.
It's to enunciate.
It's a really important point that's being made. Yeah.
Sabotage again.
Yeah, but then it breaks out individually.
First it was
after.
mute, now it was echo.
Yeah. Just a quick one. I just want to shout out Mighty 8 Hoy. Thank you for resubscribing. G Howard for resubscribing. I see all of you. Big love to you. And our first time chatter in the chat, Loyal Tripper. Love a first time chatter. Welcome to the gang. Let us know how you ended up here. Were you a Hydro homie? Were you whatever? Right. Might have all fixed itself now.
So hopefully that now that we have probably 4 distinct types of terrain, which would be LGT, WTC, Games Workshop, and then the FLG player placed. They're 4 distinct dynamics, and when they're all being used regularly at a high level, we can see where the game goes with each, and then you can make a decision based on what type of game do we want. We probably don't want everyone gets charged turn 1 and they die.
Yep.
We also probably don't want everyone gets shot off the board turn 1 and they die. We want a dynamic game that has play in turns 3, 4, and 5, and we'll find that based on putting together these different terrain layouts. So I'm happy that we have different answers. I think it's good. Whether they're the right answers, we won't know for a while.
Yeah, like again, I'm always keen, and I think you can make pretty boards. It just costs money. You can make pretty boards that work, and I agree with you. I think abstraction is the right way for that. This go first win rate. You can go to terrainplus.store, which is available if you type !terrain in the chat, probably, but probably also not. So
it is. It works.
No, it isn't. That goes to another person who also makes great terrain.
Fix your Nightbot,
but maybe John will fix it. So there you go. You guys can go check it out if you want. We've talked about this enough because as Darren from Canhammer was in the chat a minute ago. I hope he's still here. He said all of these stats are shit and useless, and I agree. But it is fun. It is fun to just talk bollocks about it for a bit, in my opinion, which is pretty cool. Now,
and Jakari is still fun.
Oh, sure, please. Okay. Yeah. It was.
Well, not this one.
Not this one. Not this one.
The finale was, obviously.
Yeah.
Alice in Grapevine.
Okay, you're all back on now. Apologies, everyone. I know. Listen,
that's all I'd talk about.
I don't know why it does this. It's just completely fine, and then it just fucks. So I'm going to fix it tonight after the show.
Do you know what else fucks?
Tell me.
People who don't play Crusade.
It's true, Tom.
Damn it!
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, screw that.
Right, okay. So because I've missed a section at the start of the show, so I just want to catch up with you guys. How are you all? John, catch me up about how you are, please. What's been going on? Done any 40k this week?
I have done for the second week in a row. I've not played any 40k. I played 3 games of Warcry in an evening. Yeah, I played Warcry and I lost everyone, and I didn't care. And then I played Blood Bowl on Monday and lost as well. So I'm basically a loser.
Oh, bless you.
It was great though. The Blood Bowl was great because I actually killed a player outright, and that to me is like scoring.
Okay.
And I've taken to anytime something goes well in Blood Bowl to do a Darren Watson, and I literally put my arms in the air and just shout football, and the entire club looks at me like.
I thought you were going to say you take your top off, but we'll take that as well.
I'm literally there going football, and they'll just look and just like, what are the weirdos in the corner doing? All the 40k guys are there going, oh, I'm not in line of sight, and there's us all just having a laugh instead. So much more fun.
Okay. Is your excitement to play 40k reduced at the moment because you did a lot of events, or are you waiting for a book that inspires you, or what's going on?
I'm in that weird limbo for chapter approved.
Okay.
I want the new points because then I can start planning for my next events in January, February. Because until then, I don't really know. And like,
what do you want from chapter approved? John?
Yeah.
Just to know what the points are changing to. Because if orcs change drastically, I can then plan to paint.
I just want to know the new missions, man.
And then the missions to actually practice those, because now I know they're coming. I don't feel I'm gaining anything out of practicing the current ones because I like to play what I'm going to be playing rather just theorizing that it might be like using the bits we've got from Warcoms isn't a way of practicing for me. So what's the
Okay,
point?
interesting. What
Do you think they'll go on pre-sale at the end of January at the same time as LVO?
Oh, interesting.
I think they will.
Do you?
I think so.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think having them out before LVO will detract from LVO. They might want to detract from LVO though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because it's not their event, is it?
Yeah.
So,
Competition.
well, sort of.
Well, like we have to think about it, right? Like those two. Like how
They've done their finale, so it's technically a new season. If your event happens after the finale, it's a new season.
Yeah, are those? I don't remember if those guys got on with each other or if there was like secret kind of like we get on with each other, but secretly they kind of like stare daggers at each other. You know what I mean? Between Nova and FLG, but I'm not sure, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I don't know when they'll put it out. What do you want from it, Logan? Do you know if you want anything from it at all?
More useful secondaries would be nice. The changes I've seen so far are pretty interesting. I think the minimum 3 model unit count to complete whichever secondary it is, I can't remember, is a bad
Rod.
Yeah, is a bad
New Rod.
Retrieve Nakmund data. Why do they keep changing the name? Rod was fine. Everyone used Rod.
Rod was funny.
I don't think they like people calling it Rod.
Yeah.
I think that's why they wanted people to take it seriously.
Really?
Yeah. Changing that to 3.
Because you could have Rod and Ass.
Yeah.
You could have Rod and Ass, and people would just love and saying that because we're all children.
Of course. I think
Well, I did not notice it.
I think their change to Rod is bad, based on elite armies. I think just not letting characters do it would have been fine.
Okay, it's pretty big.
Because they added in biker keyword,
Yeah.
but then they've missed out one of the most important keywords, cavalry.
Oh no, cavalry can't do anything other than be shit.
Exactly. Like
I
those
think-
demons on their cavalry.
I don't see
Lol.
a problem with
Mate, my cavalry fucking slap.
single models in elite armies, or even 2 model
Hmm.
units in elite armies completing Rod. I don't see why it needs to be 3, because that again benefits armies that can take trash on the cheap and complete secondaries a bit easier. I'd like to see some more secondaries for more elite armies that are more interesting, because the ones that they've got in Thousand Suns and Grey Knights are pretty shit, to be honest with you.
Speaking of armies that can take trash on the cheap, are we ready to talk about Tyranids?
Not yet.
Oh yeah, I haven't even seen how everyone
sorry.
is. I was just wondering if Tom, you
news.
wanted to talk about if you've done any 40k this week. If you've done any 40k, what are you clipping out? People interested?
Not at all. So basically, I decided I was going to actually tidy my office properly, right? So I've got all my armies away. They're all on shelves, all in really useful boxes, everything's sorted. But I've got a bit carried away, okay? So all of the stuff that was in my tool storage areas, that's all now on the landing. All the stuff that was in the garage, that's now on the landing. As I'm trying to rejig everything, put everything
But you've
away.
rejigged it onto the landing.
Space. I have rejigged it onto the landing as I put things into the correct boxes and get it all sorted properly. So I can then go around all the shelves and, paint it up, no problem. Should be all right. And that's all the 40k I've done. I didn't watch some 40k though. I didn't watch any streams, but I've been lurking the Discord servers again, looking for the hot new builds that are out of Poland.
I like this section.
Yeah.
Is there
You found,
what are the hot new builds out of Poland?
I wanted to know what the hot new takes were out of Reddit, actually.
Yeah, Tom.
And Facebook.
Oh, I have no idea. I haven't read
And
either of those.
Facebook specifically.
Facebook specifically. To be honest, I'd rather go back to the Facebook group than the Reddit one. So yeah, we'll leave that one.
What's
alone,
happening on
but,
Poland Watch? Poll
Yeah,
Watch.
we should put this every week. This is hot.
Yeah, well, I need to test it, but
We don't need to. Don't need to test. You just report.
Okay.
Report.
Tom. You just
Report from Poland.
what's coming out. What news is coming out from the Polish front?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't want to tell us.
I heard the Art of War talking. Okay. About 120
Okay.
racks and
Which
how
obviously
it,
has not seen the
how
table, especially not
yeah.
in this photograph of
yeah,
Manny
it's
Chima
only theory.
and his competition
No,
Drukari
no.
list.
Yeah, they're saying it's only a theory, and no madman has ever played 120 racks, and they're accurate. No one has played
Right.
120 racks, but I know some people who've played a lot more.
A lot more racks.
Okay.
Is it because some of the racks were actually upgraded?
I don't.
So they weren't actually racks anymore.
I
Is that
mean,
the
that's one of
technicality?
those lists where I'm like, oh, Tom, you're leaking lists. I'm like, mate, I'm not leaking 100 odd, like several hundred
a great
racks
list.
to the world. It's same as the Talos build, is it? It's like, oh yeah, but I can't believe someone was a genius enough to think of taking 9 Talos in an army. I'm like,
Yeah.
sound. Yeah, so racks could be the new stonks. Okay, invest in racks.
Well, they were in
They
the
could be pretty
they
good.
were in the top 5 best units in the game by a certain
That's true.
collective of best players in the world.
It's true, but for some reason, Commandos weren't in the
Right.
top 10, and some garbage was.
How dare
so,
they?
You know,
How dare they? Hey, OJ.
I did actually agree with most of that list,
Yeah.
though. To be fair, it's just Commandos missing was a little bit of an omission. I
Okay.
think.
All right. I like this poll watch. So poll watch is by 180 racks.
That's a good starting point.
More.
Once you get those edge highlighted,
More.
edge highlight those
Yes,
180
it's true.
racks, then come back and let me know.
Rob, can I introduce you to a new
no,
painting
you can't.
method? It's called
Oh,
shake and bake.
It's not new.
Oh, it's not new. Of course.
Well, so
yeah, I've already told you
interestingly,
guys about
thanks
that,
for
but,
asking,
I'd
Tom.
recommend
I
it.
think you're about to ask me how my painting's going. I think that's what you're about to say.
I was.
how are
I
you, Rob?
was.
How
That's
you
what I was
doing?
asking. I was asking how your painting,
You were,
how your
you
shake
were
and baking was
segueing. Well, I
going.
wanted to just check with my painting bro. Because
Yeah.
we're now
You also mentioned-
simpatico. Me and Logan, yeah, we're doing units together, right? That's what we do. Look, we're doing it. We're doing it. Me and Logan
we've
coming
got a stonks
to
emote.
doubles events and team events in 2022. Logan and Rob, yeah, watch out. The whole Honest
Yeah, it's
Wargamer
true.
crew.
It's true. Have you
I
been
have been
practicing as well, Rob?
Thanks also
Have you
for
been
asking.
practicing?
So,
Boom. There
just-
you go. Nice.
just a
I'm glad you got
We're
some
going to
good games
sign
in.
up. We're going to sign up for a team event, and we're going to just hunker down in the T Sports arena. We're going to close it off, much like the world's biggest esports teams, and we're going to have scrim. We're going to run scrims
Yep.
out of the T
We're
Sports
going to push the
arena.
franchise leagues everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
S&S, Sama and Symes, has a ring to it. Exactly, OJ180. I'm on board.
There we go. Oh,
There
yours
you
is
go.
such a cool name, though. Mine's rubbish. But thanks for asking. Logan, how's your painting coming? Just catch us up.
I had a terrible day's painting the other day,
Oh.
but yesterday it was much better. I was a lot happier with my progress. It's very frustrating, like manipulating paint so that you can hold a tip on a brush and yet also have the paint flow off the brush. It's very difficult to do.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. So for me, one of the hardest things in relearning how to paint, which is something I haven't done for many years but used to be quite good at, is actually mixing the paint to the correct consistency.
Viscosity.
Yes. It looks like you just slap water in it and and then slap it on. And that might work for some people, but I'm trying to edge highlight all of my miniatures.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty intense.
Only two layers of edge highlighting, by the way, so I'm not going crazy.
Not going too far.
Tom does 3 or 4 though, doesn't he?
Hobby hero.
Apparently, when he's supervised, he does do.
Tom does.
But yeah, wait. Sorry, chat made a joke.
What was the joke? Have you got a wet palette, Logan? Have you got a wet palette?
Wet palette Logan. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen,
Hold up.
this is no joke.
Oh, it's red brush.
Oh, interesting.
Red grass, isn't it?
We've all got wet palettes together. We're now a hobby
are.
Well,
podcast.
Get ready.
Yes.
Look at all of these Winsor and Newton brushes that I've accrued
Oh,
over the
I
last
have an
10 years.
artist opus
Oh, do you
brush.
wanna see
I'm a
something else?
top tier wanker.
I like makeup
as do me and
brushes that are
Tom.
rebranded
mean,
too.
Rob? Like
Yes.
this.
No, I don't have a case.
Perhaps.
I don't.
What if you had
Oh.
one with your name on?
You all dickhead!
You, but no!
are
He's
we?
got me again!
Who
It's
are
just
we?
like
What's
Nova!
the section?
No! I never get my name on anything! I didn't get the Nova Invitational spinner with my name on, like bloody
I
Dan
did.
did. I didn't get this with my name on it,
Oh
like
my
Logan
God.
did.
I can't believe it.
Ah,
We've
it's a
all got wet
disgrace.
palettes and
I can't
artist
stand
opus
for this.
brushes. We are.
No, I don't have. I don't have those brushes. I just use red grasses.
But
brushes.
did any of you win yours for your hobby ability?
You
I will do next year.
Yeah, next year.
I'm coming in. We're going to clean up
Yeah, we're gonna smash
for
it.
best hobby.
So good.
I'm coming for all the hobby awards next year.
That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild.
I can't wait for the Honest Wargamer to get legitimate hobby material sponsorship. It's going to be fantastic.
I think that has to be the T Sports Network. The Honest Wargamer can't take
Well,
sponsorship.
yeah, it'll be T Sports Network. Yeah, but we still
Why
have.
can it not take sponsorship?
Yeah.
The Honest Wargamer doesn't take sponsorship. We take none.
Why?
Because we're free rebels.
We can still be free. That's why we take hobby material sponsorship. We can carry on talking shit about the game and balance and all of that stuff, and then we can just shill wonderful
Why don't we
brushes.
just do
and paint.
energy drinks?
Yeah,
Why don't
on
we
the
do
side.
energy drinks?
Yeah.
I really like Vallejo. Vallejo are my favourite paints.
Yeah.
I'll take free paints from them any day.
Or any company that is looking to get into the market. We're big fans of those as well. That has significant marketing budget. We're fans of them.
Yeah, whoever they are, get them. Don't make me get the puppet because that's an issue.
But there's appeared to be one Kickstarter company with a good
Hey,
marketing budget out there, and I
objectives,
definitely
if
don't
you
want
are
their money.
listening, get fucked. Anyway,
How have we managed to
Wait a
ratio
minute,
them in
hang
the
on, wait a
Goonhammer
minute.
comment
You
section?
were,
It's incredible.
You were looking to get the wound markers, weren't you? Rob?
oh no, the wound wangs.
Sponsorship. The wound
Did I
wangs.
never
Dingo.
Show me your 20 wound wang.
Did I never tell you? So we at one of our 40k events here, someone was like, "Yeah, I've got some wound wangs. What of it?" And I was like, "What the fuck am I seeing?" Like he brought wound wangs. Someone brought wound wangs to the arena. It was great.
Did he invite you round the corner to
Yeah,
take a
he
look?
did, and I went and joyously. I was like, "This is great."
It didn't help. Didn't need the wind markers for long.
So just to catch you up, thanks for asking, Logan. Great work on the painting. You and me, we're stomping it. I've currently painted 5 Squig Hog Riders.
To completion.
No, well the Riders yes, but not the Squigs. The Squigs I'm going to airbrush.
I have airbrush. You fucking look at you trying. I have not completely finished. I would say I have painted all of the armor on 15 Vanguard veterans.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So all the bone armor's done. Now I need to add, the metals and the pouches and the helmets and stuff. But the armor is done. I'm very considering whether because obviously they're all going to have lightning. I think my first run out. I'm going to do metallic lightning claws. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Overshoot.
Sorry, 1 second.
Because you want them to be adamantium, right?
Keep going.
Tripling down.
Yep.
Excellent. So we're going to have. I'm going to go for metallic power weapons rather than like the. Not for anything Wolverine related, but I just can't be fucked to do glowy blue. I want them to be glowing and blue. That's the goal.
Okay.
I know I have zero chance of getting that finished because it takes a long time.
Okay, so I've been watching some painting tutorials recently, and little side note. So this is the first time. This is Rob's first hobby report. I think ever on the 40k show, maybe. Although I've done hobby before. I've painted quite a few armies. Streaking Grime. I fell in love with Streaking Grime. We all know that. Big fan of the Streaking Grime. But I've been using so the orcs that I've done. I've posted some online for you guys to see on Twitter. They were majority, and I mean 95%, contrast paints.
No streaking
grime at all.
Holy fuck, that's really good, man.
And phenomenal stuff. Because the thing is I've only seen like someone just like slobbing it on previously. And I think JJ's in the chat, or he was in the chat. But so I've watched a few painting tutorials, specifically glazing videos, etc. Which, by the way, do you know what a glaze is?
Yes, I do.
It's just a watered down paint. Why don't they just say that?
Really thin, really thin.
It's not a wash though, because that's different.
It's specifically a glaze. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, it's just a weird thing. Right.
It's also easier to call it a glaze than watered down paint.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
But how watered
It's like,
down?
why do they call it that? It just blows my mind. Yeah, how watered down, yeah. Anyway, but they're mainly, my point is, they're almost all contrast paints, which I'm doing right now. Basically, the whole thing is dry brush, well, painted black, apart from the orc skin, and then it's dry brushed white, and then I just put contrast paints over it. And
so I have been shading all of my Space Marine power armor with, because it's bone coloured, obviously. This work, John, if you want to paint your Deathwing, which I know you'll want to do some more because they're so great. I've been using Skeleton Horde contrast and Snakebite Leather contrast, but mixed with Technical Contrast Medium, and it works as an excellent shade. Very, very good. Great control.
Where the fuck am I? Like, I am so far around my comfort zone. I have no idea what's going
you
on.
won Hobby Awards, yeah, and now you're.
I don't know how that happened either.
With the edging, Logan, are you using white ink?
Commit, John. Great.
So that you get the smoother kind of edge highlight, because that's what I found was really good on white armor.
Yes, excellent. But I haven't really been doing that because I don't like. I'm not looking for the sharp edges yet. I'm just trying to get them finished. But yes, do like a bit of white ink.
Sweet.
Yeah, so Wet Blenders the dogs. It's anyway. My point is, I'm having a great time painting because the paints are super easy to use, and even though I previously poo-pooed them, you do have to be fairly careful when you apply them because I'm trying to but like it's bonkers. Like it's so good. That's all I'm going to say. Just so good. I'm having an amazing time.
Really, 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 really good painters use contrast paints, but never in the method in which Games Workshop wants you to use contrast paints. But there are lots of uses for it. So.
Yeah, it's basically just washing basically, but it's so much. But anyway, my point is, I've been having an amazing time. I'm really excited about my orcs, and I also played 40k this week against my good friend Declan with his World Eaters, which is super fun. Just like we were talking about with terrain a moment ago, some real problem. Most of my list is cavalry, which is a bit of a problem. I
told you this when the book came out.
Yeah. So it's an issue. But I don't care because I'm sticking with my list. I'm having a great time. My first game, I didn't use the kill rig very well, so I went way more aggro. That was my main mission: be more aggro with the kill rig. Yeah, and like it's fine. I don't think it's great. It's cheap though, right? It's 185 points. So like it's good, but like, or maybe it's a little bit more. But I had a great time. Hello, first time chatter, Sound Fettler. I had a great time. Thanks to Declan. Most importantly, he was really shocked when I told him that my stickers were AP2 damage 2, and I fucking wrecked a Leviathan Dreadnought with a unit of dejumped boys. Fucking let's go.
This is the shooting you didn't even know you had last game.
I did know I had it last game. I discovered it last game, and was still impressed with it this game, which is quite nice, right? Which is good.
Yeah.
You are the Le Chiffre meme.
Yeah.
No.
But I had a lovely time. It was great. Declan was great. Obviously, I think like my book versus his book is probably my book's a lot stronger. But we basically by turn 3 we totaled each other's armies pretty much by turn 3 because he had like so much output in combat. I had so much output in combat, which was fun. But yeah, really fun. Really, really fun.
Did Death to the False Emperors change seem to actually have much an impact?
Because he was running loads of Zergers. So
it's very good.
It was really good. Like he got a lot of those shots off. The kind of key point I reckon for the game was I don't really know what the key point was. I think the key point is that my list isn't very good because it doesn't do secondaries very well. Like it plays like I'm clearly an Age of Sigmar player playing 40k. I'm just like charging stuff and killing stuff, right? And then I'm shooting
and sitting on an objective and just.
My primary game is like through the roof, and then he's like, "Do you want to plant a banner?" I'm like, "Fuck no, fuck no. Yeah, what, and give up the objective? Not a chance in hell. But yeah, I had a great time, really fun. I don't know like where it sits as a list. I think I just get shot off by a proper shooty list, but had a great time. Oh, that was what I was going to say. With terrain, it was a real issue with those cavalry units, like because he was using those berserkers, right? That could just move through the terrain and get me, and my cavalry units were having just I had to circle everything basically, but I was lucky because I took his shooters out.
And your kill rig as well, right? It's so slow to move around the terrain.
I wonder what would happen if you took away the breachable keyword from a lot more pieces.
Do you think that
of
would be
terrain.
a positive?
I don't know. I haven't tried it. Let's find out.
Like, say one of the two styles of ruins, if it's really tall, maybe it's not breachable as a result, or maybe the little ones aren't breachable.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah,
Something,
I had
right?
a great time, and the fucking Squighog boys fuck super hard. The other thing is I've been using 2 mecha jet scrap jets. Yeah, absolutely no idea how they made it through playtesting. I just kept shooting. I was like, and I've got this shot, and I've got this shot. Oh, by the way, I'm going to charge. And he was like,
there's an orc one as well as a grot one. It's like,
so
oh yeah, it's there on the
dumb.
model. That's the only reason it's got so many guns. They're like, well, it's on the model. We've got to.
I've got 2 brand new in box down here. I really did get big
It's so
style.
dumb, Tom. It's
Nice.
so many shots. Like, why does it
I need a
even
third
exist? I can't believe you could take more. Like, dumb. Like, there should be so many more points. But then you hit on 5, so you're like, oh, maybe I won't. But MVP of the game. I don't know if you know this yet, Tom, but they've changed the weapon profile of the bubble chucker. Do you know this?
Oh, this fucking
Do you
gun.
know this?
I did not know this, Rob, but
They've
please tell me how they've changed
the
the bubble
weapon
chucker.
profile on the bubble chucker so that you can choose between 3 types of bubbles.
You can't choose. You roll. God, Rob.
I mean, oh, cheating!
Is that true?
Cheating!
Can we check that?
Yeah.
Oh
Completely
dear.
random. I'm bringing it up right now. Don't you worry.
Uh-oh.
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 Put it in the chat.
Neil,
Uh-oh.
get him on the list.
Please add me
Get
to the
him
ban
on
list.
the list. Okay.
So
Yep,
roll a
yep,
d3
yep,
to
yep.
determine which of the profiles below make the attack with.
Oh, no.
And for each one, you have to check each of them. So you have to roll per gun as well. It's not like 1 unit of 5 gets the same one. That's why you get stuck with lots of wobbly bubbles, mate.
Oh yes, I think I'll use the best one for each profile.
Yeah, I was constantly rolling wobbly bubbles. Oh no. Apology video on Twitter. I will genuinely post an apology video on Twitter because it needs to happen. A sincere apology video.
Please write an apology video
Would you like me
talking
to
about your
record it right
wobbly
now?
bubbles
I'll
and
just
how
do it
you're
right
not
now.
using
Do you want to see?
Classic
Here we
dense
go.
bubble
Here we
moment.
go. Hello, world. Oh, wait, let's start recording. Just do this really quick. Hello, world. My name's Rob. I'm a 40k player, and I have something to admit in this apology video. I recently was playing a game with my friend Declan, and I used something called a bubble chucker. I thought that you could choose one of the 3 weapon profiles that it has. Instead, you have to roll for it. And so I quite often chose the wobbly bubble profile instead of the dense bubble or the big bubble. I'd like to apologize for my behavior, and I will accept my red card from the ITC anytime soon. Thank you so much for listening. Fuck you, Templar Objective people. Okay, good. Did it. We've done it. That was...
We'll get that on TikTok later, right?
I think that should be enough to
Okay,
placate the
okay.
list for now, Rob. Okay.
I
Glad
feel
you've taken
bad
atonement
now
for
because
your
that
mistakes.
was...
It's okay, you've
To be
apologized.
fair,
No longer
all
need
of
to
the
feel bad
profiles are
about the
great.
overuse of
All
your
of the
wobbly
profiles
bubbles.
are great, right?
But you don't know which profile you're shooting with when
Just
you've
in different
targeted a unit,
situations.
right? That's the point. You select a target and then you're fucked. Could be a really bad matchup. It could be great. So, but that's orcs though, right?
No, you just take the units that have the great shooting profiles and just spam them.
I mean, Death Cop.
Random shit.
Well,
Yeah.
this is what I was saying to. So, a big shout out to Budtastic Guy in the chat. This is what I was saying to Declan. Was loving it because he was like super serious. He's like, okay, I've got a Chaos Lord in here. He's in Terminator armor. He's got this other thing. He's got this other thing. He's rerolling to hit. He's rerolling to wound. He's gonna fucking slap you. I was like, okay. I shoot him with 1 wobbly bubble. Yeah, and he was like, he fucking died laughing. I was like, I'm putting this in every list. It's so much fun. Anyway, never mind. I'll still put it in the list.
What, 45 points for that joyous moment. So it's priceless,
Yeah,
really.
I guess it's still funny if I say I'm going to shoot you in my dense bubble.
If it hits. 50-50
It's
chance.
quite
roll.
amusing if you say I'm going to target you with my bubble chucker. That's still.
Yeah, but then what? And then I could make them roll it. Please let me know what type of bubble I'll be shooting today.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, all right.
I don't think any of us can ever top the joy I see whenever I see someone post a video of Owen Jackson doing Hand of
That's
Dust.
also really good.
It's pretty
No,
good.
it's also fun rolling 2d6 shots for a rucker truck squig.
It is. It is.
It's really fun.
Super fun.
It's fine because I roll lots of
fun.
threes on 2 dice.
All right, let's talk about. There was some other news really quickly. Some other bits of news just to fire through super quick. First off, Henry Cavill said on air he would like to play Valdor in a 40k TV show. Logan, you got any thoughts on that?
Excellent. He should be allowed to do anything he wants, and Games Workshop should be doing much, much more to engage with this wonderful man.
Agreed.
God bless you, Henry Cavill.
Forever. John, any thoughts on it?
I just want them to get him on Warhammer Live or Warhammer Plus or whatever and do a battle report with him because that would be great marketing for, say, the Custodes book that's coming out
Who
next
would you like
month.
to see him play?
Anyone. Literally fucking anyone.
I
But it
actually
could be
like the
Tom
idea.
Holland.
Yeah.
I would like him to be, if they did, because they're doing Eisenhorn, I think he'd be a good fit.
Is he Eisenhorn? No.
Young Eisenhorn,
But
totally.
he wants to be.
He wouldn't have to do all the
He wants to be
exercise stuff.
Valdor.
Eh,
So, all right, Tom.
Yeah.
Would you like to?
you asked
Would
my
you like
opinion.
to see him on?
Yeah, I mean, he's out of luck, unfortunately. 'Cause I also want to be Valdor.
I think you've got the height.
So he's gonna have to play Pious or some shit. I don't know.
Good. Yes. Really excellent. And I'll play Saint Celestine. It's going to go really well. It's going to look.
You'll do a great job.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
And if he does Cal Jericho, I can be scabbers for him.
That was the other 40k.
Now we're a law show.
Yeah.
We've gone from a hobby
To
show
law
to a
show.
law show.
We'll cycle it back.
We're not talking about any
cycle it
game,
back.
are
Let's talk about bloody Tyranids. Okay. We're doing it. We're doing it.
We have to.
Now,
okay.
before we get into this, John, I want to ask you a question. This is a Tyranid update, yeah? So if I've got this right, you've got the Tyranid book, the Psychic Awakening. You've also got Warzone Kakaradon.
Octarius.
Shit.
Yeah, you've got
book
yeah.
1, not book 2.
Yeah.
No, but it's not book 1. Book 1's got the Dracarys
Oh wait,
stuff in it.
sorry, they're on the cover. So
They're on the
it gets
cover, but not.
Oh, they're in book 1 of the second Warzone thing. There's 2 Warzones. There's
This is Octarius and book
which was the one with the Dracari?
That
in it?
was.
Book of Rust, which is Caradon,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
this one.
Cool.
So yeah, I've got a few books.
Okay.
Apparently.
Okay. So
it's
the
not a
first
problem.
series is Caradon. The second series is Octarius, and they're the first book in the
So-
second
Yeah,
series.
Rising Tide.
Plus the Psychic Awakening, plus the Codex. Plus a
Okay,
White Dwarf.
perfect. So,
I'm really glad that we don't have the Codex bloat of previous editions.
well, this is
Don't forget your.
I've got-
Don't
right.
forget your Imperial Armor book that you will need to include the rules for the Malanthrope and the Demacaron, which you absolutely will be running as well.
You mean this 40
Right,
quid?
can we just
slab?
get? I want to get straight into this. First of all, would I have preferred to buy my Cult of Strife, Army of Renown, in a £4.50 or whatever this costs because I'm a subscriber? I don't know. White Dwarf,
$5.99.
or a £30-odd campaign book for my 2 pages? I'd have preferred to buy the White Dwarf because
Okay.
it cost me less money. Is it absolutely dog shit that they're now releasing rules in
Oh,
White Dwarf?
my.
yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it's terrible.
that's good.
I hate it.
All right, that's what I was going to ask.
It's a short-term. It's a
Putting
short-term
rules
fix to a
in
long-term
White
problem.
Dwarf can absolutely get.
Yeah.
Because remember when they did this with Imperial Assassins? Everyone was
They
hunting
did
for
it for
copies so they
fucking
could have a copy of it.
Harlequins.
It was fucking
Yeah.
dog shit. Because people were like, where do I get my assassin rules?
Still, I don't know.
And there wasn't an app at that point. So it was like you had to physically buy an out-of-print magazine from 6 months ago to play your fucking rules.
Is question: do the White Dwarf updates get put into the app?
No.
Oh,
No, they don't.
No.
Good question.
They do on Wahapedia, though.
The true app, the people's app.
I can't wait for app of the year
It's
this
gonna
year.
slam.
It's going to slam.
It's not an app though; it's a web page.
It's still it's close enough. Yeah,
Shut the
yeah,
fuck
shut
up,
John.
Scribbo.
It
We're
could be an
counting
app.
it,
It's an
okay.
app in our hearts. I like
Yeah.
how it's one Russian guy. He must walk around Russia, yeah, just like
With a wheelbarrow
Yeah,
to
but
carry
also
his
be-
massive balls.
like he goes in, orders himself a shot of vodka or a coffee, whatever he does, yeah, and they're like,
Nothing like a stereotype. Yeah.
Well, probably just like eating potatoes as well. Whilst we're at it.
I'm not saying it's wrong,
Jeez.
but
I didn't
immediately
say
with
that.
the vodka.
I didn't say that. But what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. If EPUB got updates, I would buy them instead. Agreed. Me too. Okay, so yeah, John, I was going to ask you and Logan, but Logan, you've already said get fucked. And John, your final thoughts about the updates are landing in White Dwarf? You got any feelings?
It's just shit for an introductory, like a player that's just got into the hobby. If they were like, right, I like these Tyranids because they look cool. How are they going to know that they've got to go buy White Dwarf this month? Because as soon as the month's over, that copy's off the shelf. That's
Unless
shit.
you subscribe to Plus, and then you can get back copies of
In a
White
year,
Dwarf.
because you can't get
Shit.
you can't get the
I didn't
current.
realise that was how it worked.
Don't make it harder for new
Okay.
players. Make it easier.
It's so fucking
Well, yeah.
hard.
Yeah, it's hard for new people.
It's so fucking hard to learn this game.
Yeah.
It's actually fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, I can understand why they're putting most of their time and effort into just getting people into the hobby and painting stuff and putting stuff on their shelves and playing fun little push around games.
The fuck
Because
the
the
game.
rules are so fucking bloated. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I'm sat here dry brushing an orc. I want to play with my minis. I love the background. I love the lore. I like how it looks on the tabletop. I like how they engage. I think the game isn't terrible mechanics wise, but it's just a lot of shit, right? Which is fine.
agreed.
So, okay.
I mean, at some point, I also want to like just spend an entire hour talking about White Dwarf and the state of the magazine.
I
and,
want that.
What it should be.
I want that. Can we do that next week?
But
Okay. All right.
sure,
Great.
let's do it. We'll
I
talk
bet
about it
actually
properly.
read a White Dwarf. then.
I would.
Says the man that sells
Can I
them
say
for
that I used to like?
I mean, I'll just
Can I
I'll
just
just
say
tell
I
you.
used
it's
to
fine.
like Visions? Hello, Adam. I love you. Can I?
Vision.
I remember
used to
Warhammer
love
Visions.
that.
Yeah.
That was the
Warhammer
good one
Visions.
because it was
Yeah.
just pictures.
So there was a. Yeah,
I didn't want to
it's
read.
alright.
That's probably because I've just discovered yesterday I'm dyslexic, but that's a different conversation. Like,
Via
Twitch
Twitch
yeah, it was
chat,
a tough day for me.
That's like net doctor at its like peak, right?
Literally, Twitch chat diagnosed me, and it worked. Like,
Yeah.
um,
But yeah, we'll do a proper show on it because
Yeah.
I really want to talk about it. I feel like I mean, I know I could if give you this magazine, I'd fucking have it slapping within a
Is
year,
this
year
it?
and a half, and it would have no
I'd like
rules in
to-
it
I'd like it doesn't.
because it's just a short-term fix to make people buy it in the short term because they want like 6 pages.
And it's
out
not
of it.
even just the match
Mhm.
play stuff. They've got
Yeah.
things like in this current White Dwarf. There's also a 3-page Crusade bit, which could have been in a Crusade book rather than put in White Dwarf.
Now Crusade, I don't mind as much.
But it's the same problem though.
Although I still don't think it
It's
should be
the
in
same
there.
exact
Well,
problem though, right? It's
yeah.
in several sources.
But you're not competitively playing Crusade where you need to have all the rules of action.
But if you're playing
Right.
that one, you've got to go find a copy of it, and it's a limited time thing. It's making
Why do you need to play
If
that
you-
one
if-
when there's just
if
rules
one-
everywhere? It's just Crusade is just you just make
You
it up as
don't
you go
need
along
that
anyway.
one to
like,
play Crusade.
whatever you want to
No,
do.
but if you
I
wanted
might
to, is
want
my
to
point.
play
You
that
get
one.
the choice. It's the choice, right?
I want to play
Yes.
Kill Team. I want
Yeah,
to
but
play
you
Kill
have
Team.
the
I don't
choice
know if
anyway.
you've watched the latest battle report on Plus.
It's so good. Not the I haven't watched the battle report, but the game is
Oh, Kill
very
Team.
fun.
On a scale of 1 to 3 triangles, what would you rate the game?
I would rate it probably a circle, which is a dash in the game.
I would have
It's the
said
second move.
I would have
action.
said triangle square first.
Oh man, what annoys me in my locals the most though is those measurements, which are basically inches. They're not like the triangle doesn't represent 3 inches. It represents some other
Well,
number.
4
It's like,
inches.
Yeah, it's
Why?
a 4. Well, no,
Why?
if you want something that will really fuck you
Why?
up, I played Marvel Crisis Protocol the other day, right? This is a quick one, right? And they've got measuring sticks, and so like your unit moves a 4, or it moves a 3, or it moves
Yeah.
a 2, or whatever it is, right? And it moves
Yeah.
the corresponding measuring stick, but the measuring sticks aren't inches, and the amount that it triggered me was unbelievable because I would constantly be like, they move 4 inches. Like, no, they move arbitrary 4, and I was like, my brain exploded. I genuinely couldn't handle it. I was like, no, this is breaking my brain. But anyway, but I would like to play some Kill Team. I would love to play some Kill Team because I think it'd be really fun. Anyway.
Come over for Christmas, Rob.
Yeah, okay, deal. Right, because I could use my new boys. Boys. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Tyranids. What are the state of Tyranids at, or what were Tyranids at before this White Dwarf update, generally?
They're effectively exactly the same because they are entirely held up by Hiveguard.
As a faction previous to the White Dwarf update?
At all times.
Okay, so it's just...
Before the Warzone book came out, held up by Hiveguard. After the Warzone book came out, held up by Hiveguard. After the White Dwarf has come out, they're still being held up by Hiveguard. So, yes.
Correct. Yes. If we take out the fact that this is in a White Dwarf, my overall impression immediately is actually like this. I think it's cool as fuck.
If this was in a Warzone book, I'd be like, these are the types of armies of renown I want to see.
Yeah.
Stuff like this.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
I'd prefer them to be in codices as well. I'd still criticize them for that, but that
because it's got a compromise to it, right? That to get this cool stuff, you can't have other stuff.
Yeah, or at least have like if you're gonna do like a Warzone thing, at least say this is all Tyranid rules, so it's not like I need to just go all over the place to try and find this shit, or take 7 books to a tournament.
Does anyone ever take a book to a tournament?
Fucking should do. If I ran tournaments, I would forbid people from coming if they didn't have physical copies of every single thing.
Such a scumbag, man. What the hell? Like
no. Like if you're gonna do it,
I mean, have you seen the shelf behind him?
No, it's not. My camera's just a bit wonky. No, definitely not Wikipedia. Use Wikipedia at home.
It's a GW bar graph,
right?
Yeah, but make sure my camera's wonky. It's not the shelf. I can assure you.
He's gone for a Dutch
assure you. Actually, I'm sitting straight up right now. You didn't know.
I thought you were just like.
I live in a fun house.
Oh my god! Have you got go-karts downstairs?
Weasley's over here, dude.
Absolutely. The 2 twins over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Yes, definitely physical. Bring a fucking book. I don't want you to hand me your crack screen Android phone and try and show me the rules for your army on Wikipedia. I will definitely tell you to go fuck yourself.
Really? Why?
Show me in a book.
Well, the book's wrong sometimes. They change the data sheets.
Well, have that as well. Have that printed off.
Oh my god, who's got a printer? It's the fucking. What? How old are you? Like,
you've got a printer.
I know.
It goes. Brrr.
Do you know, like, people who have to work in offices all have printers.
Buy the fucking
schools, or
if you cannot be bothered.
Yeah,
if you cannot be bothered to buy the books and print off your FAQs, I do not trust that you know the rules of your army to tell me the rules of your army.
Right.
It's like a litmus test for me.
I'm out.
In the same way that having a COVID passport isn't really doing much, but it's at least showing. It's at least showing that you've made the effort. You know what I mean?
You've given it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring your fucking book. I don't like it's even if it was on an iPad and you had a digital version of the codex like we used to, that would be fine. But because
it's the same result.
But
right?
Someone's greasy hands, fat-fingered, greasy hands, Cheetos knuckles, pushing their crack screen £100 Android phone into my face.
You are such a bitch.
Notifications from Whitney Big Tits just coming over on the top as well.
In the comments on this one, like this is no. I'm out. No,
right. YouTube comments.
I'm
love
all of you.
What,
broke,
dude? Right,
lazy,
I'm not having this. I got it.
Ignorant sweat hogs. Can I have a moment of silence so you can have a look at a real man with an iPhone? But yes, I hate that kind of look, here's look on my phone screen, here's the rules. Like, show me the fucking rules. Look, here's the rules. I can read it. Like, that's how it works. Let's carry on playing. You get so many miscommunications and like misreads off that. Just
can we take a minute? Hold up. I want to just very quickly make the point that gamers are more than happy to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a 3D printer, but won't go to Tesco's for a £30 one.
What for what?
Yeah. They won't get.
I'm never gonna
The
get a
normal
normal
printer.
printer, like ever. What?
Oh, you will, Ron. You will, Ron, when I tell you
will
you
make you
have
do
to
it.
print your rules
Yeah.
off.
I'm just not gonna. I just won't go to your event
Yes.
because I'll be like, you sound mental. You sound absolutely
Well,
mental.
guys, it looks like we're a man down for the team tournament we're going to next year. So,
Sweet, I can play Orcs then.
Excellent.
Yes, fine.
Chat, send your applications to for
Fine,
Falcon
I
at
will-
dickpills.com.
I will 3D print. That's what I'll do.
We'll
I
take a
just
look at
3D
them.
print my rules.
You'll print
Judas,
your army
Judas
list.
Goat Mini said I can look it up on my own phone. And if someone told me to look up the rules for their army on my own phone, I would also tell them to go and fuck themselves.
I'm completely out.
What if they gave you an iPad that's like a phone but slightly bigger?
With what on there?
Li-
A link to Wikipedia.
The rules.
Can I make a suggestion? Because I would like to.
No.
I would.
I mean,
like
I
to-
agree with you.
Buy
I'm
the
just kind
book.
of
I would like
poking
to
the bear
breach
at
a
this
suggestion. I've got
Buy
the
all
book.
6 books.
I've got the book. The Orc book's
Bring
in
it.
there. I've got it.
Bring it. Bring it with you.
I'll go get it.
And print
but
your
it doesn't
FAQs
matter.
out. Oh, if you don't want to print out your FAQs, Rob, you could always just buy the Space Wolves Codex, where one falls
Right.
out the front cover upon purchase.
Right. Okay. So my follow up is to this really quickly. I would like to ask you for 3. Is before we get into it, wouldn't it be nice if they made unit cards?
Yeah, it'd be great. I saw those for Age of Sigmar for Ogres, and they looked awesome, and I wanted to buy some until I realized they were limited
Like,
edition.
I like that. What do you think, John? Because
Yeah.
I need that. That's what I need.
I find them really useful, especially when I was getting into Age of Sigmar. Just being able to go, that's what my Bolt Boys can do, and not having to flick through a book or one problem.
Yeah, those are great.
It's great. The problem that I've had with these though is that if something gets FAQ'd, they have to change it.
Well,
Again.
yeah, I know, but like I was just saying.
Can I just say as well,
print
because
them
I was
out.
looking for it, right? I bought this from W.H. Smith as
Oh
well.
my god, it's a. Okay, sure.
This
I
is
got one of those.
this
Down
is
there.
spiral bound,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
clear
Costs you
thing.
about
Is that-
£2. Yeah.
Is that a new one or is
How
that
are you
a
the sound of
a
the
WH Smith
underground?
branded one?
It just blows my mind. You carry on.
Spiral bound. Yeah.
Yeah.
This has got my
Proper
army
grimy.
list in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got notes on every single unit in my army, so I can remember everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
All the special rules, all of the rules that were applicable to them as well. Here, just for me to make sure that I'm getting everything right. Yeah. It's not hard. Just be a little bit organised. Bring your books. Bring your notes.
Can I ask a question?
Come and have a fun time.
How long did that take you?
6
How long
Ps.
did that take you?
The 6 Ps. How long did this
Yeah.
take me? A day.
Yeah.
Only a
A
day.
day.
That's a day you
Thank
could be
you, John.
painting.
Thank you, John.
No.
boom, boom.
Because look, when I actually do have everything painted, then I'll finish this,
Okay.
That'll be out of
Fine.
date.
and then I'll just print new ones off. The 6 Ps. Do you know what the 6 Ps
And another
are?
day doing
To be
it.
fair, maybe.
Proper planning prevents piss poor
Yeah,
performance. Write that down.
Yeah.
All
If
the
I'd have
Ps.
known that, maybe I wouldn't have cheated. Please see apology video.
That
Yeah.
is true.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, right.
No, what? Look, these are the two sides that we're on of this argument. You've got me, who's a fine, upstanding member of the community. I've never had any controversies at any tournaments.
Yep.
And then
Just don't attend any.
and then Rob, who is fresh off the back of a red hot cheating scandal that has gone from
In
the
a
four
practice game,
corners
no
of the
less.
internet.
Imagine being so desperate to win that you cheat in practice games. It's
against
utterly
Chaos
disgusting.
Marines. The poor lad.
Yeah,
Against,
the
not
only
Chaos- not
faction-
even like Slanesh ones.
the only
They were
faction,
word bearers.
the only
the world
faction,
Is, that's the word.
the only faction with a lower win percentage in the official Games Workshop statistics, which have been accrued from 2,000 games, and you can't argue. 2,000
yes.
games is a huge number of games.
Fucking hell.
That's clearly definitive.
Right.
That's more
Only
of a-
faction
prove
with a
anything with
lower,
that number, I
lower
guess.
win rate than that is Necrons.
Yep.
So did you really need to cheat against Chaos Space Marines?
I did. I truly did. Because
He's got a 50% win rate. His
Wait a minute, Rob. We haven't actually done this yet. Did you win the game?
To turn 3. I slow played him.
You weren't even running Green Tide.
I was because after club night,
Hey, we're gonna practice with the
because
clock
after
at
club
this point.
after club
Holy
night, I DJ
moly,
immediately
dude.
after, and like I was like 15 minutes late, and there was like 5 blokes stood outside, like what the fuck, and I was like, shit, I had
was
to
playing Warhammer.
fucking.
What were you doing to those
I
5
had to
blokes?
fucking rod,
What?
lads. I had to rod.
We've done like this apparently.
With their
I've
rods?
seen Leander's tweet as well.
Retrieving some sort of data.
Right, okay, so I don't know where we were. So Hiveguard, the whole army,
Wherever we were, we need to.
the whole book was
Where are
Hiveguard,
Tyranids?
and then what happened in the White Dwarf update. Tom, do you want to take us through it?
Yeah, they've released an army of renown along with some crusade rules that I won't bore you with.
Butcher
because
Town Thunder Brawl
we
Strike
all-
Force. You don't want to talk through
No.
those.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
Who runs?
Let me
Butcher
just
Town?
get past all the crusade rules, just like a normal codex. Okay, they've released an army of renown. Okay, it's called the Crusher Stampede. Okay, so this is an army of renown that's basically for your big monsters for Nits. Okay, because you don't see Carnifexes in play. Okay, you don't see Trigons in play. You don't see Hive Tyrants in play, and I've got 10 sat
Why
here.
did you keep
I wanna use
the
'em.
10? Why did you not
Thank you.
sell 7?
He couldn't find any buyers.
Oh well, that was. I know this is the honest Wargamer, that was kind of a lie. I've got 5 here because I
Okay.
borrowed the other 5, but I've still got too many,
Okay,
and I need to play them.
All right, fair.
Okay. That's the most important thing. All right. So immediately, I can tell you about the restrictions that this army of renown imposes upon your army. Okay. So if you take this, you cannot take any swarms. That means you can't take any rippers. The standard El Cheapo
Oh,
backfield objective holders.
Okay.
You can't take any of those.
Yep.
I just realised that's a very this is a very Aussie faction, isn't it? You also can't take any models with a wounds characteristic of 2 or fewer. So that is Termagants, Hormagaunts, and
Right.
Gene Stealers. Okay, can't take any of that. So all of the units you'd normally be using as cheap units to hold stuff can't be taken. All the little chaff bits.
Yep.
Okay, can't take any of that. For each unit in your army that does not include the monster keyword, your army must include at least 1 unit that has the monster keyword. So you must have at least 50% of your army be monsters.
That's
If
cool.
you take this army of renown.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the
Yeah.
Poxwalker tax type of thing.
And gargoyles, of course, which as well. You can't take gargoyles in your army as well. So basically, you're taking Nidzilla. Nidzilla is just all the big gribblies.
Vibing.
Okay.
Vibing. You're going to struggle to hold objectives, though.
Forcing you down the. You might do. You can take Tyranid warriors. I believe the minimum squad size for them is 3. You can still take things like a Malanthrope as well. You can take Hive Guard that can set off a little bit more and still shoot you from 36 inches away, which is very neat.
I've heard they're good if
yeah.
you have.
Take the Swarm Lord. He can maybe stand off a little bit as well. You know, or maybe you just go for a couple of Tervigons and then you poo out some Termagants to sit on the objectives for you. That might be cool. You never know. So what do you get for all these restrictions? Well, I'll take you through it and we'll talk about what this means. Okay. So benefits. All units from your army gain the Crusher Stampede keyword, which we'll get to when we talk about the strategy.
You missed one other restriction, Tom.
What is it?
They must be all from the same Hivefleets, but yes,
Yeah.
that's
I thought that was quite.
I
I thought that was quite
yeah.
a cool.
I mean,
thing to
it's the
remember.
case for every army of renown.
Yeah.
You can't mix.
And
you can't
probably
take
in
Neva
new
anyway, 'cause
chapter
it's already been
approved,
filed.
true for all armies, right?
I hope.
By the
so.
way,
Potentially.
I've been playing
That's
Mono
a risk.
Goths. Amazing. But anyway, please continue.
No, it's fine.
Face paint.
So, the Crusher Stampede keyword. Units from your army that don't have the monster keyword get the shielded by the Hive Mind ability. So I'll take you back through that very quickly first before we get to the next benefit. And this is this unit can never gain a Hivefleet adaptation, which is one of the upgrades that you can take from Psychic Awakening. Although it also says see Codex Tyranids, so that implies something. And then models in this unit have a 5+ invulnerable save. So all the non-monsters that you take in here, although that can only be half or less of your army, get a 5+ invulnerable save immediately. Okay, which is not bad. Okay, it's decent. Your second benefit is what the monsters get a special role, so they get hulking behemoths. So non-monsters get the shielded by the hive mind. Monsters get okay, it's the trait. Fine, cool. So you don't get the trait. Absolutely okay. Hulking behemoths get different rules. So these are the monsters. They can't gain the Hivefleet adaptation either, which apparently is the trait that you get for things like Leviathan or Kraken or what have you. They also get a 5+ invulnerable save, so it's the same as shielded by the hive mind, but then they get some additional stuff as well. So they also get -1 damage to a minimum of 1.
That's good.
And also count as having the same number of models of this unit count as a number of models equal to their remaining wounds for the purposes of determining the control of objective markers. So you're not objective secured, but let's say you have a Carnifex on an objective with 4 wounds left. You count as having 4 models on that objective. So you still get superseded by objectives secured, but you at least have a way to kind of hold
So
objectives
big
based on your size.
monsters outscore little dudes.
Assuming that you have fewer dudes than
That's
wounds on the
fucking
big
cool.
monsters.
That's cool.
It's a great mechanic.
It's like the
It
Gargants.
is like the
I think,
guard,
in
but you
AOS.
can't
Yeah,
like
it's
you
good.
don't have no 30 wound bitches though, do you?
No, but if you have a unit of
Yeah.
Carnifexes, you might have a decent number of
Okay.
wounds. You know, it's
But
not
how many
bad.
wounds does
So
a
the
bad at all.
Carnifex
downside
have?
of that is you have to take Carnifexes.
I think it's 8 or something. I've actually got the
What about
codex
Hive Guard?
directly underneath my
Max
whiteboard.
size unit of Hive Guard. How many
Yeah,
wounds
but
are
they're
they?
not monsters,
18.
Scrivo, so it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
so they wouldn't. Okay, ignore me.
Yeah.
It shows how little I know about NIDS.
No, you're fine. You're all good.
I mean,
It's
they are
absolutely fine.
monsters.
So the monsters
but
are
they
the
don't have the
big
monsters
things.
keyword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the Harpy, the Hive Crone, Hive Tyrant, Swarmlord, Carnifexes, Trigons, Morlocks, Trigon Primes,
Hyridules?
Cervidons, Tyrannofexes, Hyridules, Demacarons.
Oh yes, the macarons. There's Neil here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The Hierophant.
Yeah.
Barb Hyrule as well. Yeah, you got it. All the jazz. So there's quite a lot there. Yeah, but Dimer is the big one.
Is
that's
I
pretty
like
much
scales to existing wounds. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It's not wounds characteristic, it's for wounds, the
Which I
number
like.
of remaining wounds. Yeah. What the Stampede looks like. So you've got a lot of good stuff in there that also gives you a lot of restrictions. So you can't just take a detachment of Crusher Stampede and then take your normal like city stuff and then just let them run off.
It's
right?
a really, really good balance between thematic restrictions and good rules restrictions. Like I'm
yeah.
really quite shocked at how fair it is, but also
Yeah,
while still
100%.
being good and not dog
Because
shit.
Tyranids is
Yeah,
a
no problem.
weird, like a weird book to write for, right? Because you almost want them to be a monster mash list, but you also want to write a version that's all hordes and we're going to eat everything list, right? Like you weirdly want to buff two sides of a book, which is quite a lot. Like, you know, very much like when you write an Eldar book, you want to buff shooting, combat, movement, psychic powers, and stratagem use.
Yes.
Like you want to buff those. But so it's an interesting book, right? Like, and this sounds really good because like I've always felt that like the monsters have struggled a lot in 40k generally. So this is cool.
And I'm glad that they're making an effort to make the big boys see play as well. I think that's really cool, rather than giving you like a one-dimensional kind of nid thing. I know Ennis is testing these a lot as well. You also have some warlord traits, which I'll go through very, very quickly. So you can give a Crusher Stampede model, you can make it your warlord, and then you can select one of the 3 warlord traits beneath. So the first one is Raging Influence, and that is when you roll a 6 to hit with a melee attack, when within 6 inches of a warlord, you score an additional hit. That's not necessarily great because a lot of the things that you'd have warlord traits on from this are things like Hive Tyrants, which don't have that many attacks actually. They have 4 base attacks, I believe, and then 1
Hive
from the tail.
Tyrants.
So they don't have a massive number of
4
attacks.
base attacks, correct. And
I believe so. Yeah. Oh, look at him go.
Well done.
Brilliant. Yeah. And then the second one is Savage Intimidation, which is when an enemy unit is within 3 inches of its warlord. Each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, subtracts 1 from the attack's hit roll. And then this is see if you can tell me what this is, because this is very wordy for what it is. Each time a combat attrition test is taken for the unit, subtracts 1 from that combat attrition test. It's like a penalty to what you roll when you fail a leadership check when within 3-inch range.
Yeah.
Not great. That's fine. Whatever. And then finally, you've got Rampaging Base. So once per turn, when this warlord is selected to fight, it can use this warlord trait. If it does so, until the end of the phase, add D3 to warlord's attacks characteristics. Much better, because often you're going to be sending these monsters off to go and do their own thing. Let's say I'm putting on a Hive Tyrant, I roll forward, I've got 5 attacks, maybe I roll 1/6, so that means I get 1 extra hit. It'd be better to get D3 attacks hitting on 2.
Okay.
Than trying to play for that. So yeah. That's pretty much the standard stuff. And then there's I'll go through the psychic discipline very quickly first.
Is it a
because I
new
don't think there's
psychic
too much to talk about.
Yeah.
It's called Mass Convergence
that's
discipline. Cool. Okay. And then we'll go through some of the stratagems. So before the battle, you can generate some psychic powers from this discipline. But only if you are a Crusher Stampede Psyker. So you can still take Zoanthropes in here because they've got more than 1 wound. But of course, there'd be non-monsters, so you'd have to compensate for that with different monster units. Also, Hive Tyrant to Psychers as well, so you can take this on them too. So Synaptic Barrier is the first one. It's a blessing, and it has a warp charge value of 6. And if it's successful, you can pick one Crusher Stampede model within 18 inches of the Psyker, and that model has a 4+ invulnerable save.
Okay.
Which I don't really have that, but you can stick that on. I think does a dimmer have a invulnerable save? I don't think it does, does it? Yeah, have a check.
I'll find out.
What are you asking about him?
Does a Dimacaron have an invulnerable save?
No, it does. 5+ invulnerable save.
Boom, there you go. Well, it's an improvement. So it's already good. Oh, maybe you can slap this on a Harridan.
Sorry, just quickly, just Logan, did you check?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Just in the future, feel free, Tom. Ask me and Logan really quickly. He could check in his book, like a fucking olden times human, and I'll check online, and we'll race.
Well, I can always check in my official app. If it's on.
Yeah, of course. Although you unless you pay for it, so it's fine. The second one is called, and one of my favorite named psychic powers in the game. It's called Aggressive Surge. Okay, yeah. It's another blessing. It's another Warp Charge 6, and it's got an 18-inch range again. And you can give another model with an 18 inches D3 attacks.
Hey, that's
instead.
Great.
So the first one is give it a 4+ vulnerable save. Second one is give it D3 attacks. And then of 18 inches, and another 6 Warp Charge of 6. And until the next start of the next phase, each time a model makes a mixed melee attack, you can reroll to hit. So you've got 3 psychic powers that are very similar. They just give out different buffs: 4+ invulnerable save, D3 attacks, or reroll to hit.
Okay. I mean, D3.
Yeah, that's pretty much psychic powers.
No problem. D3 attacks is pretty great, right?
Yeah. It's decent, especially if you stack it with the additional attacks from the Warlord trait as well. When you're using it with Hive Tyrants, but of course you need the melee profiles as well. But sticking that on a Dimacaron isn't necessarily bad at all. 4+ invulnerable save, as Alendril says in the chat as well. Most of the models in here have a 5+ invulnerable save. You could stick it on one Carnifex and have it just tank the big shots. But and you get a 5+ invulnerable save anyway because of your Army of Renown. So it's basically just +1 invulnerable save. So it's not a massive issue. And then reroll to hit is okay in melee.
That does change the maths pretty significantly though. Like going from a 5 up to a 4 up.
It makes it very, very swingy.
It does, but it's still really swingy though.
Yeah. But if you swing up with it, it's like it can be really clutch, right? So it's just one of those chancer psychic powers, and if you make it work, it's fantastic.
I think all of those are quite swingy because adding D3 attacks is.
It could be 1.
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would tick to that tree over.
But equally, if I'm looking at it and I'm on the opposing side and I see something big coming at me with potential 2d3 extra attacks, I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful just in case it swings up. Just like with a 4+ invulnerable save, although the difference between a 4+ invulnerable save and a 5+ invulnerable save isn't massive for how you want to play the game, because you're looking at it and you always know that it has a potential to pass a bunch of saves and just still be there, so you have to take precautionary measures regardless just to deal with it just in case, right? The aggressive surge, you don't necessarily, that does change how you play quite significantly in certain situations. The infused energies, not so much, because if you're getting into combo with something, you're not going to be relying on rerolls to hit. Hive Tyrants, no, you're hitting on 2s anyway. Carnifexes, I mean, if you're charging them in, you're probably confident you're going to remove whatever you're hitting anyway. Dimacarons, maybe just for reliability, that's kind of good, but that's about it really. And maybe you just go for aggressive surge anyways. D3 attacks better, or is reroll to hit better.
That first Warlord trait that you touched on as well, Tom, if you were doing that on a unit of multiple monsters, like say 3 Carnifexes, wouldn't the unmodified hit rolls of 6 be beneficial if you're going into something a bit tougher though?
Well, that's all right. I was too busy finding a box in the chat. What are you saying?
So the first Warlord trait isn't just a model; it's a unit. It's the only one that does have unit.
Have a check.
So
this is Raging Implements, right?
Yeah, so you could put that on 3 Carnifexes to get the Exploding 6s.
Yeah, but
that isn't useless comparative to the D3 attacks in my mind.
I mean, it gives you a big aura of 6 inches, but I don't think the aura itself does too much for you because you've not got too many attacks coming out of your fingers because you have quality, not quantity.
Fair enough. I don't really know their stats.
1/6 is nice, but it's not it's not massive. So you stick it on the unit, and then let's say you spread them out, kind of like a line. Then you say, well, I'm looking at a Carnifex base that's like 3 inches wide. Yeah, say that's 9 inches, and then you've got 2-inch coherency between them, so that's 13 inches. Then you've got 6 inches on either side, so you've got about 25-inch diameter, like bubble. It's not fully circular, but you understand my point.
Oh yeah, but just it seemed like there was an option there.
Cover a lot of space.
Building big units, yeah.
Yeah, you can cover a lot of space. I'm just not sure that the buff itself is actually that useful for you. But then Tyranids warlord traits, whatever. Shall we get into some stratagems?
Yes.
I think
Go
stratagems
on,
are
All
really
right. So we have got 1.5 A4 spreadsheets of stratagems here, which is almost more than the Demon's Codex entirely. First one is Thunderous Impact, which is 2 CP. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a Crusher Stampede monster model from your army is finished a pile-in move. Select one enemy monster or vehicle unit within engagement range of that model, and until the end of the phase, that model can only make attacks against that unit, and each time it does, it gets +1 to hit, to wound, and damage.
Okay.
And that works for a model, not a unit, so it doesn't work if you can't stick it on free card effects. It's just going straight into something. But that's all right, actually. You can't. I look at something like that and I wish I could give the Swarm Lord, this keyword.
Yeah.
Which is I don't think you can because he's a named character.
You
Oh wait,
can.
can you?
Yeah, the Swarm Lord is now just a
That's so silly.
unit.
Nice. Okay, that's pretty good. Although you still have to get it in. It's situational, but it's good. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, good. Like Swarmlord's got some pretty nice output, right? With his bone sabers. Damage 3, 6 attacks. It's pretty nice.
And anything that's plus to wound is always helpful, right?
Yeah, because he doesn't need. Does it give you plus to hit? He doesn't need that because he hits on 2s, so 2s and 3s.
But if
Yeah.
you're against something that's maybe something that's -1 to hit, because
Okay.
Yeah.
you do get the odd situation like that.
Yeah. Okay. All
Someone's pointing out in the chat that it says damage roll and not damage, which I think is a bit pedantic, to be honest. I think that's going to get FAQ shortly.
That's a copy pasta, isn't it? That's
no,
what
Yeah.
no.
That's got to be pedantic.
No.
It only works when you have D3 damage, yeah. Only works when you have D6
Only on
damage,
theory.
yeah. That was intended, was it? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, okay.
They wouldn't put it to print otherwise, mate.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they never fuck shit up. It's always just that they intended to just have it as this really obnoxious, weird mechanic that doesn't make sense.
Every time, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay, fine. Second one, Terrifying Charge, 1 CP. So use a stratagem at the start of your morale phase. Oh, no, we can skip it. Select one enemy unit within engagement range of a Crusher Stampede model. Until the end of the turn, subtract 3 from the leadership characteristics of models in that enemy unit. -3 leadership isn't terrible, but the problem is the leadership mechanic isn't necessarily great either. Like, if you hit a horde, maybe. But
Is it?
even then, you're just like chipping stuff out. It doesn't really change. It doesn't really swing a game.
No, it doesn't swing the game. No.
Could
Unless
cause-
maybe you can combo it with the +1 to or -1 from combat attrition tests. That could be nice.
Yeah.
Because if you're hitting something like a unit of, I don't know, a unit of 10 dudes, it's quite scary. If you manage to kill enough off, then you pop that, make them fail the leadership check, and then you hit them with the, you're going to fail on 1s and 2s now, or on 1s through 3s now. I mean, if they've got the potential to, if they've killed, although I say if they've got potential to kill like a lot of your stuff back, they'd probably have just done it, and you wouldn't be there in the first place anyway. So
Yeah.
or
whatever.
if it is just a little unit of, say, 3 intercessors left over that are holding an objective because they're obsec, that could swing it. Because normally they won't run.
Yeah, but that's really that's a bit of a Hail Mary. Like, it is, that just puts it in the situational category again, right?
Yeah,
and then that's also a combo. True, but you have to prep for that combo because already taken warlord trait, right? And therefore, what you're doing you then charge to a unit of small objects in the back, you're killing a few of them, and then they're fairly lead, and then they're rolling 1s and 2s.
It's a lot of ifs.
It's a lot of this, right? And it's also something you have to prep for before the game, and you're not taking other opportunities to do that. So I'm not sure you go for that one at all. Although maybe there's a couple of like very rare situations in game where that might pop up, but I don't think it's something you prep for. It's just an opportunity you take. What do you think, Logan?
I've got lost amongst them all.
This -3 leadership.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not too familiar with the psychic tree. Yeah.
The psychic tree.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the normal NID psychic tree to see if there's any good.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah. There's
combinations.
Onslaught, there's Catalyst, there's not really. There might be a Psychic Scream. I'll check Psychic Scream actually.
Because obviously, you had some really nice synergy with leadership debuffs with Drukhari.
Yeah. The only problem with this is that you use it in the morale phase, which is the last phase of the turn.
Oh.
And then it lasts until the end of the turn. Yeah. So it's literally just for
only to make people blink.
for that role. Yeah. So it's not gonna do too much, I don't think. It's 1 CP though.
Yeah, skip over that, I think.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll move on to the next one then. Unbreakable Chicken. So you use this in any phase. It's 1 or 2 CP. When a Crusher Stampede unit from your army is selected as the target of an attack, until the end of the phase, each time an attack is made against that unit, and a modified wound roll of a 1 to 3. If that unit contains 5 or more models, or contains any models with wounds characteristic of 10 or more, this stratagem costs 2 CP. Otherwise, it costs 1 CP. So, yeah, it's transhuman.
Yeah. Which is good.
That's all right.
Which is good, right?
Well, yeah, you can put it on a Carnifex.
But,
you can put it
high
on
toughness, right? So it's like, what's the point?
CP.
It depends on what's going to be what is going to be hitting you.
Yeah.
If you're in front of a bunch of Dark Lancers, it might be a problem.
Mm.
And for 1 CP, it's not too bad. Because if you look at unit of Carnifex, it's not going to have 5 or more models. It's not going to have wounds characteristics of 10 or more, because I think they have 8 each.
8, yeah.
It would cost 2 CP on something like a Flying Hive Tyrant. And then you've got a 5+ invulnerable save as well. Suddenly it actually makes you quite durable and quite difficult to remove with those kind of high strength weapons that you'd normally be reliant upon.
Yeah, I
Can't use it on a Harpy. That's annoying.
Oh, yeah. Harpies are really good with this, I think.
good on Hive Guard, right?
I rate
No, you
Harpies.
can't. Well, you can, but it'll be 2 CP because they're 12 wounds.
Also, there are situations where you want to spend 2 CP as well. For example, if you've got Harridan flying around, you've just got one big dude. Slap it on there. Lovely stuff. Can't remove that. See ya. Not too bad.
I think it'd be interesting to use it on like a Dimmacaron because their toughness 7. You're going to be putting stuff like Melter or Lance or Laz stuff into it. And obviously it's 2 CP, but if your Dimmer is stuck out in front of lines, then reducing the reliability of big multi-wound doing shooting or melee. Someone swinging Thunderhammers at it, for example. It just makes it even more annoying, right? And it's 2 CP, but like you said, if it's 2 CP and it causes your opponent to have to put maybe 2 units into it rather than the 1.
I think it's more than that, mate. You look at that. Let's count the buffs. Transhuman. -1 damage. 5+ invulnerable save. Potentially 4+ if you use a psychic power.
Yeah.
That's hard to remove, man. I don't care.
Can you do minus? You can make them.
-1 damage is from the army of Renown.
Is there a -1 to hit thing as well? Or was that just?
Yes, there was, but that was a Warlord trait, I believe. Is that a Warlord trait? I'll find it somewhere. Well, you find it, Logan. It's fine. I'll go through the next strategy.
Oh, yeah, Savage Intimidation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
there
interesting as well. So while an enemy unit is within 3 inches of the Warlord, it's -1
to hit. So it's basically a melee thing.
Generally, yeah, but
if other units are next to them.
Yeah, it's not. So it's not to target the Warlord. So you could have the Dimmer next to a Flyrant that's your Warlord.
Yeah.
Just pop.
And he's just sat a little bit back. Yeah.
Laugh. I don't know anything that makes this army, because that's the problem with Nid monsters, right? You just pick them up. They just didn't. Ironically, the army that actually really needed durability buffs.
Yeah.
That is not evil space.
Yeah.
Is this? And they've given it. So yeah, I think them having some kind of transhuman doesn't bother me.
I think this is actually really encouraging, but they've actually picked up on this. Similar to Knights, actually. Knights, they were able to identify why there was an issue with them, and they actually managed to fix it. With this, they've picked up on the 2 problems that they had. They don't really score, and they don't really live.
Yeah.
And they've gone straight for both those, and that's really encouraging.
Yeah, so I mean, the Leviathan buffs with this together, you can get an Obsec Carnifex that.
Unfortunately, you lose the army.
No,
trait.
You only lose the Hivefleet adaptation, so you can still use the stratagem for 1 CP.
Oh, the stratagem, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So you can still use the stratagem.
People feel my pain.
Yeah, no, sorry. The Obsec strat. So you can have Obsec monsters that count as
loads of stuff.
The Dimmer would count as 18 models.
Yeah, pretty good. Wow.
Pretty useful. Shift me, and you can't kill the fucking thing because it's got a 4+ invulnerable and transhuman. And
I think that makes Leviathan what I take with this, to be honest.
I think so. Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the next one.
Which means you do need to turn up with your 5 books.
So you do, and your FAQ for all 5 of those books.
And your White Dwarf.
Yeah. Yes, and the FAQ for the White Dwarf because they put damage roll on the thing when they clearly didn't intend to. That was just a copy. Anyway,
I'll have a sportsman's bet with you, Tom.
Yeah.
That they don't FAQ that.
I agree they won't FAQ it, but I think they should. I just don't think they will.
If anyone tries to argue that it's only on a damage roll, also needs to grow up.
No,
I'll tell you
it
what.
says on a damage roll, so
Okay, let's. I'll take you on that bet, but no one will FAQ it, is what you have to say.
yeah, I don't think WTC will FAQ it either.
All right, well, straight into my contact book. Let's go. Let's get it sorted. Okay, next one. Death Surge. Neil, get it FAQ. 2 CP for this one. It's used in a fight phase when a Crusher Stampede model from your army is destroyed.
I like this a lot.
Yeah. Do not remove that model from play. It can fight after the attacking model's units has finished making its attacks. When doing so, it's considered to have its full wounds remaining for the purpose of determining what characteristics on its profile to use. And after resolving the destroyed model's attacks, it is then removed. So it's just fight on death, 2 CP. I believe it can... makes it fight a second time as well, because if you charge in, you fight, and when you're killed, you can go again, right? It's not just you can resolve your attacks regardless of whether you're destroyed. It's just when you are destroyed, fight, right?
Because it doesn't state it. Because normally those abilities, like the Orc one, is if you haven't fought,
didn't they?
Yeah,
very
even nicer.
An oversight, perhaps, or do you think that's just a quirk? Do you think is it intentional? Oh, I don't know.
That's more glaring to me than the wound damage roll.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's all right. Not bad at all. Especially when you're charging, you can just charge in and say, "I'm just going to do this twice."
Because it's still 2 CP, like it's a normal 2 CP fight on death with a character.
Yeah, it is.
So a suicide hive tyrant.
You say that, mate. Oh, mate, and then you stack
would
on
he die?
2d3 extra attacks.
Yeah, I mean, you
you
put it on the
Depends
again.
what
Like,
you're
the problem with Nids, right, is they need all the CP to just chuck hive guard shots at you all game, right? But like theoretically, you could stick like 6 CP on a Demarcaron, and no one's going anywhere near it.
Yeah, it's an entirely different.
And you don't even have to do this, right?
Yeah.
Don't even.
I mean, hive guard is still good from regardless of whether or not you pump CP into them anyway. Like, I mean, you can double fire them if you want to, but it's still like a bunch of ignores line of sight strength 8 shots. So you don't necessarily need to even pump the CP into them. You could just save them for something like this, which is entirely fine. It is obviously nice to double shoot the hive guard, and it's very good value, but it's not necessarily necessary. And you don't have to take. And when you're building so specific like this, maybe you're not using them as a crutch or as a pivot as you normally would. So yeah, I think this is absolutely fine. Shall we go through the next one?
Yeah, please.
Go for it.
Halfway through. So breaking through is the next one. It's 1 CP, and it has a lot of words. So use a stratagem in your charge phase when a Crusher Stampede model from your army finishes a charge move. Select one enemy model within engagement range of that monster and roll a number of d6 equal to that monster's model's remaining wounds. That's tough. That's a tongue twister. If a model's strength characteristic is higher than that enemy model's toughness characteristic, for each 3+, they take a mortal wound to a maximum of 6. If the strength characteristic is equal, then it takes it on a 4+. And if it is lower, then it takes mortal wounds on a 5+. So it's just mortal wounds when you charge. And the number that you do is effectively based on the number of models in the enemy unit and whether you are stronger or weaker than the unit you are charging into.
And it's only 1 CP. That's really good.
It is only 1 CP. Yeah, it is quite good. So yeah,
it feels like a good narrative representation of it. Like it, I think the closest I've seen them do mechanically like that is the Ocelot Bone Reapers. They're cavalry in Age of Sigmar that it's based on the distance of your charge. So it's obviously the kind of like the speed you're hitting them at. So it's that kind of equivalent, isn't it? Like your big thing hulking into it. It's nice.
Ogre More Tribes with Mornfang.
Yeah, it's nice.
They do a similar thing. Yeah, that's quite good. What do you think, Logan?
I think that's a really, really good way of sticking a bunch of mortal wounds on a big nasty target. With big monsters that don't have a huge amount of attacks as well. So if you put in something that's got 12 wounds, for example, that's a really reliable way of sticking on 6 mortals before you've even swung. I think that's really.
Is
really
it flat
strong
6?
CP. No, it's a
a
maximum of 6. But if you're rolling 12 dice and you need to get a 3+, then you're going to get.
You roll number of dice equal to the number of models in the enemy unit, and then depending upon whether you're stronger or weaker than your opponent, it depends upon what you roll.
When you finish your charge, select one enemy.
Oh, depending on your remaining wounds.
Remaining wounds. So for a big monster, that's like really a Dimacaron. Fucking good. Yeah. Well, a Dimacaron is just picking up a vehicle or an enemy character, just a pre-damage. But if you charge like a support character, that thing's gone.
Six flat.
Your 6 mortals definitely are getting put on that.
So 1 CP is really, really good value.
Really, really good.
And then if it's a multi-charge, you've killed the character, and then you actually then go put your attacks into the unit next to them.
Exactly. Really, really solid. I think that's a very, very good way at breaking through. I mean, and when you've got stuff like Flyrants or Harpies in there that you want to support, maybe a charge to get into something, I think that's really fucking good. Yeah.
Speaking of really good, by the way, I like this next one.
Go for it.
It's called Rapid Adaptation. It's 1 CP. You can use it once in a Onslaught on a small game, twice in a Strike Force game, which is the 2Ks, and then 3 times in Onslaught. And you use a stratagem before the battle, and you select 1 Crusher Stampede Tyranid Warriors unit from your army, and models in that unit have a weapon skill of 2+ and ability skill of 3+. Now, one of the things the Russians were doing at the WTC in 2019 was they were getting a lot of use out of very shooty Tyranid Warriors. So for 1 CP to make them +1 to hit for the entire game is incredibly good value. Now I understand different meta, but at the same time, if you're going to be taking units like this, like to sit backfield anyway, you kind of want to upgrade them with weapons if you wanted to, and then you spend 1 CP for each unit and just say, hey, I've actually got quite a lot of a threat with these. So it's not like a lot of the time when you're taking these backfield units, you feel like, oh, I'm going to pay 55 points for this, and I'm going to sit in the backfield and it's going to do nothing. You get value out of these units regardless. And you want to be doing that, especially when you have to invest a higher points cost initially into those units, as opposed to things like Rippers or Termagants or whatever because it's just cheap and you just ignore it. With this, you have to spend a little bit more to get those kinds of backfield holders. So you want to maybe stick some more upgrades on them, like additional weapons, to make them provide more value other than just sitting there because they've already got such a high base cost just to stick them in.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense to me. Or more importantly, yes.
What do you guys think, John?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, go on, John.
Oh, no, you go, Logan.
Go for it, Logan.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very difficult to justify spending. How many points is 3 Nid Warriors?
I can go get the. In fact, no, I can't because it's not in the book. Is it?
How many points are 3 Tyranid Warriors? I'd be very interested to see you pull up this information for me.
Tyranid Warriors, a Tyranid Guard?
No, Warriors.
Tyranid Warriors.
Different.
Tyranid Warriors are 17 points each. With Devourers, they're 4 points. Flesh Hooks is another 3 points.
Okay, how many points for a heavy venom cannon or
on who?
On Tyranid Warriors.
Great question.
They're basic bio cannons, so that would be for a venom cannons +15.
No, basic bio weapons. Spine Fists are +2 and Death Spitters are +6.
They're in basic bio cannons, so we're looking at what? Venom cannons 15?
15 and Barb Stranglers 10. Yeah.
There you go. Boom.
That's why I was at.
Oh, Venom cannons.
You were floating over the wrong hyperlink.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
It's the best.
Like, it's right there. It's just like, oh, there it is. 15 points. How can they not just make this? Doesn't matter.
I'm just disappointed that the new White Dwarf stuff's not already there. I half expected it to be out the day before it's coming out. Because it normally is.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway. Sorry,
It works.
Did you make a point, Logan, about this?
Yeah, no, I think it's worthwhile. The only issue is obviously you can only give one of them a venom cannon, so you're stuck with 18-inch range guns, which is not terrible, but it's not fantastic either.
Yeah, and 51 points isn't too bad if you want to go cheapest chips anyway. But if you wanted to kind of go a little bit more value town with those, you probably stick a couple of upgrades on there, slap a couple of rapid adaptations on there, and it's all right. It's not too bad.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't have tons to add to that.
No, it's fine. We've got one more stratagem, and it goes on Tyranid Warriors.
My only issue, is
there you go for it.
You're quite CP light. You need a lot of CP in this. I know that Innes was looking at battalions because he's a greedy CP boy. So yeah, I don't know whether that is a CP that spend game to buff up Tyranid warriors. I think it's 51 points, and you're never seeing those boys again. They're just hiding.
Yeah.
Enhanced brain functions. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll get into that now. So it's 1-2 CP. Use the strategy in your shooting phase and select one Crusher Stampede Tyranid warriors unit from your army that's within engagement range of any enemy models, so in melee. Until the end of the phase, models in that unit can make range attacks using the big guns never tire rule, as if it had the monster keyword. And that's 1 CP if it's 5 or fewer models, or 2 CP if it's more. So that just means you can shoot in combat. What do you think?
Yeah, like situational, right, though? But yes.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Like,
yeah. What do you think, John?
Are the things like the Venom Cannon, are they heavy? So would you be -1? So you'd still be -1. So it could make the difference, but it's nice to have that as a tool in your kind of tool set just in case.
Yeah.
But it is again quite situational.
Yeah, it's fine. What do you think, Logan?
Yeah, situational. Definitely would. Yeah, so it's only going to be 1 CP because you're not going to take Tyranid warrior units bigger than 3 anyway. I mean, if you're just trying to pick up one model that's challenging, but you're OBSEC anyway. It's nice to have the option. More options are better than none, right? So
Absolutely.
Being able to shoot into combat like a monster.
Yeah. It gives you some more flexibility with the Tyranid warriors, being able to push them up a bit more as well if you want to go big breaks. So, yeah, it's just more options, isn't it? Overall, I really, really like the Army of Renown. It's a pity it's in White Dwarf, but I think it gives a lot of life to a lot of units you wouldn't previously see.
I think that's the key point, right? Like that it's not just the same units rebuffed.
Yeah, and it's also one of those where it probably disincentivizes you from taking the original NIDS list, right? It's about that internal balance and about that, list variety within a codex. Whereas I don't think this necessarily works if you're also going to go with Hive Guard, because as we've already touched on quite a lot, the CP spend is quite a lot, right? For both of those builds, you can't necessarily combine them into one. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I think it's pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing some units. I want to see if the Demacarons are super oppressive. That's my only concern, but I would hope, and my initial suspicion would be that we're okay, and I'd have been pretty good with that this year.
Okay. Yeah, go on, John. Sorry.
It's kind of nice that it's not locked to a sub-faction as well.
Yeah.
Because the Blood Axe one's cool, but your Blood Axes. So you kind of have to go with, if you've got them painted up that way, or specific play styles. Whilst this at least gives you some choice across the monsters. It's not just very specific things that you feel you kind of dip into.
I think it's good that it gives you the options, and like you said, like it actually. Is this the first? So we got the thing on the knights, where the knights counted as more models, right? But this is the first opportunity that we've seen to see how they tackle the big guys in a small guy game, right? Yeah. Because the primary is so important, you need small guys. Tom, you talked about this the other week. The fact that we get so much trading in game is because really you're just focusing on those 45 on primary, and also trading also ties in quite nicely with being able to do things like fucking engage on all fronts and like fucking everything else, right? So you're doing the primary, you're doing the secondary in your kind of like positioning and construction
at the same time.
This now throws like a spanner in the works a little bit, because you're actually like, oh, okay, even if I throw some guys on there, I'm not really trading with a big monster. Like I'm losing that. Like, well, probably not, though.
You're trading down.
Yeah.
Unless, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how they do with all the damages in 40k. Although the Swarm Lord remains mandatory in every Tyranid build you ever take.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's good. Weird it's in White Dwarf, but other than that, great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a good stat check as an army. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near a top tier army, to be honest with you. There's so many things that you need to power up with CP to make stuff scary in this, and I think that the model count is going to be really low. If you actually want to take objectives away from people, you're going to be, again, you need CP. You need to risk expensive monster units that are still quite vulnerable. Because realistically, this is a game in which anything can get picked up off the table. It's just how much resources you want to pump into it. So if you have to put one of your Flyrants or a Dimmacaron or something like that into the open to hold some of the forward objectives, it's probably going to die next turn, regardless of how much you spend on it. I think the army is terrifying in combat. There's loads of really cool and very strong powers there, but because you're monsters, getting into combat means traversing terrain, as we were talking about earlier. And outside of Flyrants and Dimmacarons, you do actually have to care about terrain. So being mobile limits you to maybe about three units. And of course, if you are taking a Hive Guard, it's impossible to screen them now. So for someone to just tag them, they're fucked. So it's a really interesting conundrum in terms of an army of renown. It's really, really fluffy. It plays exactly how you think it seems to play, because obviously I've not played it. From reading the rules, it seems like it would play exactly as you'd expect a army of Nid monsters to play. And I think we'll see a lot of use, but it'll be more like mid-table stat check kind of gatekeeping kind of stuff. It's
similar
not
to Knights, really.
Yes, in a similar way. They have a lot of similar problems that Knights do. Knights obviously have access to more reliable ranged, I think.
The
Nids are obviously
ranged a different way. You have more.
Yeah.
You have more shooting with the Knights, but the Nids have an easier time getting on top of you, I think.
Yes, exactly.
I
you have
would
the one Knight that can zoot across the table with advance and charge and all that crazy stuff and move ridiculously with the Storis build. But other than that, you're not going to get jumped on turn one, whereas this can definitely jump you turn one. The only problem 100%. Is it leaves its pants down, its bums exposed, flapping in the wind after that, because there's just not the crap, there's not the carpet there to just screen everything out. So I think that's the big problem.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think I'm going to suspect this to be like a 3-2 army most of the time.
Okay.
Maybe in America
that's still
you'll
pretty
see a
good
4-1
though for a big stompy monster list, right?
But this is the thing, I'm not even memeing though, because when I see Knights get top 8 at a big American event, I look at this and I'm like, this could probably do it as well.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Like, if these stat checks can reach that, maybe it can reach a 4-1 occasionally. But
that's great for a Nids
not
player,
even
right? Being able to just turn up to an event, throw some of their favourite monsters into people and have some great games.
And play them. Yeah, I thought you were going to say, it's great for a Nids player.
And not have to feel like you have to bring
now. And I'm like, brother.
Not have to bring Gene Stealers, right? You don't have to bring Gene Stealers. You don't have to bring the little guys. If you don't really want to move blobs of 20 things around.
No, because it's
fun, right?
That's
I think NS put an army up that was like 5 big monsters, I think, and like some Hive Guard and some...
I'll get you the exact tweet. He had 3 Dimmacarons in there. I think he had 1 flying Hive Tyrant. Let me just double check it. I can get the picture. Yeah, so let's... Oh, the glare on that picture, fucking hell, Ennis. That's a terrible... I can't tell what's going on in that.
So 1, 2... on parade entrance.
Yeah, 3 Dimmacarons, 1 flying Hive Tyrant, a Swarm Lord.
Swarm Lord. What's the thing at the back? Is that a prime?
That's some form of Trigon or Morlock.
Yeah.
He's got 1 unit of 3 warriors and then 1 unit of 6 Hive Guard. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, he's got a zone trope character as well. 14, 15, 16, 17 models. It's hiding in between the Flying Hive Tyrant and the Swarm Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, you're taking that in one case, which is a fantastic army to turn up to a tournament with. So like fucking great.
It's also covered in spikes though, so be very careful. Just don't take it through Manchester Airport and you'll be okay.
Do we feel like this is any sort of indication of their 9th book?
Yeah, because
with how kind of the rules are kind of laid out.
This is meant to be out before the Tyranid book was clearly meant to be out, right? By the way, just because
they released one off, they haven't released any before.
Just because I happen to know, White Dwarf is done almost 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that's leaking information. Like I think that's just generally how it works with print magazines.
Range,
that's why I'm fascinated that it came out now.
So does that mean we're 6 to 8 months behind schedule-wise?
100%.
Because that's roughly where we're looking at already, roughly from estimates.
And I think it's going to get longer.
Yeah.
What'll be really interesting in what next month's White Dwarf will be, because it'll be like.
Here's some Eldar rules.
Yeah, here's the Eldar, which is pretty interesting. Also means that maybe there isn't going to be a Tyranid expansion, or maybe there is, like in addition. But like the Tyranid book will be very soon. Well, not very soon. It should be, but like we're super behind.
I imagine it'll
right?
be like April, May.
Yeah. They probably had a white army of Renown, says the fisherman in the chat, ready to be inserted into a random White Dwarf. I don't really like. They probably have, but like they did say refer to. I think we should have Tyranids out already.
Yeah. Because the Cult of Strife one was just after the Codex, like awkwardly close.
Yes.
And there's
Was
no
the
way
same,
they
like
wanted
the
them
same
to be.
week almost.
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the same day, same weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Same weekend. It was just weird, wasn't it? Yeah, same day DLC. That was it.
Yeah.
It was bonkers. So that
was
doesn't
hilarious,
feel
by the way.
intentional.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Still
well,
not going FAQ either.
fun time overall. Thanks, guys, for having a really.
And we
fun time.
also had like Tau and Gene Stealer Colts and Custodians
the
more rules.
Tau.
Oh gosh,
and
yeah.
official.
Yeah.
And some claws.
I did.
Just
I'm gonna
how
be honest.
spiky heads.
I took one look at like a summary of the Tau article, and I just thought, I'm not reading that shit. Fuck that.
It seemed really convoluted.
Yeah.
Montcar, Carrion. If we're within 18 inches, and if it's turn 3, then you get fucking.
And if it's a full moon, you can get +2 to your fucking weapon skill.
In
or some
round
shit.
3
Like-
on a Sunday only, you get
Yeah.
this.
Whilst wearing cargo shorts.
Always
Yeah.
wearing
So
them, John.
everyone gets.
If you are in the top bracket, receive an additional 2 units of free Vespid in Deep Strike on turn 6.
I mean, it's exciting that like we're starting to like that they have to give us like little tidbits from all the different codexes, because they probably should mostly be out now, but they're so far behind that like that it's just a bit of a mess. And yeah, the bin guy might be doing it ultimately, although I don't think the bin guy works in 40k. But he might.
Spoil plot twist, Rob.
Speaking of which,
That
I
was the
actually
problem.
I actually wanted to talk about this a little bit. So I watched your Nurgle review, Rob,
Yeah,
and you were talking about how
haven't done
when
it yet.
you
but
take away well
a Nurgle,
did
a Nurgle look.
yeah you did a Nurgle look, and you were talking about how when you take away an army's ability to do certain things, you push it towards one style of play and one win condition, right?
Yeah.
And I'm liking how Tyranids now have multiple ways to build their book and achieve multiple win conditions.
Same. I think it's a really good parallel.
And
I think.
and still maintain their identity as well.
Well, it's
It's amazing.
insightful, right? Like it's insightful.
Yeah.
They understand. Like when they just buffed Hiveguard again. Sorry, when they just buffed Hiveguard again, you were like, okay, right? But like when they understand how to make a very separate play style, that's really good. Anyway, let's head out.
Yeah, I think
go on,
that's
sorry.
really, really healthy, man. And the fact that they showed that is encouraging, given that we were talking about sub-factions and stuff on the show a couple of weeks ago, and how they don't really lend themselves to actually encouraging different play styles. I think stuff like this, it'd be very interesting to see, however, how these armies look. How like Leviathan and Crusher Stampede look with the new book, because they might, as I said, they're propped up by Hiveguard. See, because Hiveguard are 100% getting the shaft, 100% getting the shaft. When this new book comes out, will they replace it with stuff that's useful in a different way? You don't really know. Like this looks like it's this Army of Renown gives me a sliver of hope that they know what they're doing. But I've got 5 years worth of, well, at least, more than that, but, multiple years on years of, it's just the wheel of fortune as to whether stuff's good or not, and how it works together, because it's definitely not by design that some things are great and some things aren't, and some things are ridiculously strong and some things just completely suck. But this is at least a sliver of, actually, we want you to play like this, and here's rules that encourage you to play like this, and these rules are actually good enough to make you want to try and play like this. Secondaries are a big thing as well, aren't they? So I'm really looking forward to seeing the new missions and secondary changes, and obviously when the NID book comes out, what secondaries they get, because that is definitely a make or break for factions out there as well. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's again, I don't know if I'm an idiot getting my hopes up that this is going to be a thing, but
no. Also, like the Nid book, as well as most of the Xenos books, is there opportunity to just have a real great time writing weird and janky rules? Because it's like all the power armor, yeah, like over there, and then you're like, cool, you Nids now, do some weird shit, like have fun. Like same with orcs, right? Like same with unfortunately Craftworld.
I don't.
Like so. Anyway.
Oh no, Craftworld will just be here's all the best broken stuff at a 25% point discount.
Yes.
It's gonna be awful times.
It's gonna be brilliant. I'm really looking forward to it.
I am not looking forward to it. Okay, Logan, you gonna do some painting this week, buddy? You and me?
Of course, absolutely.
Team
I'm trying
buddy?
to get. I want to get at least 5 Vanguard finished with their bodies. Maybe not the arms. Not do all the arms in one go, but I want to get at least 5 bodies and bases done so that I can look at a model and at least start to believe that I will see it on the tabletop at some point soon.
Okay, rad. That's fucking rad. I'm vibing on that. John,
I'm not going to commit to finishing a unit of 5 Vanguard. I don't want to let myself down. I commit to painting some more.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Don't hold yourself to that. Just try and enjoy the process, basically. And also, just if you do 5, you'll feel like you finish 5. It will be great. Like if you stare down the barrel of like 20 in a go, it's awful, in my opinion. John, you doing any hobby this week or what?
I'm actually going to try to paint my boss in Mega Armor and my commandos because they're just sat there kind of
baby.
waiting. Because those commandos are great. Those models.
Well, the
oh
Kill
my
Team
gosh.
Commandos.
Yeah. I've got 3 squads of them now.
God.
So I've got to paint one of them.
You've got 3 squads. How did you do that?
So I bought the Kill Team box when it dropped because I wanted the terrain because I'm an idiot, and I wanted the cool commandos, and I enjoy playing Kill Team. The missus got a bonus for Christmas, and so she bought me another box because she's also an idiot.
Oh.
And then I traded some Chaos stuff for another squad of them. So job.
Right. Okay.
So
okay, that's
apparently
pretty
it's
good.
easy to make this stuff happen. So
That's pretty great. I'm very jealous because they're fantastic models. Like fantastic.
those bomb squigs.
Oh baby. Tom, what are you doing this week?
By the end of, or by the start of next show,
Yeah.
I will have finished painting this Bastion.
Oh, what?
Interesting.
I need to get the.
Fortifications.
get
Oh
the-
my god, there was me panicking thinking it was a
No.
Stormcast.
No. It's not back. I've just got a shelf. I'm gonna start working my way down my shelves. For my office.
I've got several
Yeah.
shelves. I've got
Yeah.
They are quite
Oh,
useful
yeah.
in a game still. If you just say that you can't land on top of them.
This way, when I look to my right, I can see the progress I'm making
Yeah.
and feel good about myself.
That's good.
And
That's
that'd be
good.
Great.
I'm going to crack the airbrush out tomorrow and actually try and do the terrain via airbrush. So we'll see.
Smart.
Nice.
We'll see.
Yeah. Have you got any metallics that you can fire for an airbrush?
Not really gonna. I've already base sprayed. I've used the graffiti spray. So big shout out to
Oh, okay.
Montana Gold. If you guys know what that brand is, so Montana Gold. And I've already done it in like a pretty kick-ass copper all over. So now
Nice.
I'm just basically manipulating that copper into different shades. Basically, is what
I
I'm
would be
looking for.
careful with some
Otherwise
of them
known as gold. Yes.
Some of their metallics, Rob, I found that I've got their kind of rose gold. It almost had like a weird, when I brushed stuff on, it was almost like a shim, like a shine to it. So it was kind of like, it looked like the liquid was sitting on top of it.
So basically, a lot of that Montana stuff, because it's outside spray, is fairly hydrophobic. So it's something to be conscious of. But actually, I've also used the black for my orcs and stuff, and it isn't really a problem as long as you're conscious of that.
So that was my shock with my terrain because I used it's apparently champagne metallic is what I used.
So all you do is just wait 24 hours for it to set.
Good to know.
Is the key point because basically because they can spray in basically in almost raining conditions with that spray, so it's got a slightly different composition to maybe hobby paint. But anyway, I digress. Thanks.
What happened to this show?
I know. Thanks to all 3 of you for the
Nicholas
great.
left and we released out in a hobby because he was the metagamer of us all.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
still want to find a designer who can make me some dreadnought weapons, Rob.
Oh yes, Shadow Sun. That's who I was going to message. Shadow Sun, if he's still in the chat. If not, I'll link you up. Shadow Sun can. Also, if you would like your dreadnoughts to have boobs, definitely Shadow Sun.
Please, no.
I do not.
Can I interest you in that?
No.
Certainly not.
Okay.
You will not be missed.
Shadow Sun is
Not
in
with
the
that extra
chat.
material.
Shadow Sun in the chat. Hello, love boobs. Logan needs someone to design something for him, so there you go. You got a hookup. Thank you to you three. You've been great. Any shout outs before you go? Logan, Tom, John, anyone?
Shout out to you. Hope you feel better. Thank you very much for still coming through and doing the show. I know you're not feeling very well, Rob. So yeah,
appreciate that.
Rest up, man.
Tom?
And don't forget to thin down your paints and just drag the side along the edge. Every edge.
Every edge.
All of those pieces of leather and pieces of armor on every single boy. All of them.
All of the boys.
They're all the best boys. So
Have you ever painted gums? Because I have now.
Oh yes.
Yeah, bright pink.
They're good on orcs, yeah.
Oh, you only need two colours on orc gums.
Okay.
They're really satisfying, actually.
Purple and pink. That's all you need to, and that's
Yes.
it. It's done. Because remember, you're painting for them to look good from 3 feet away.
Yeah.
So you just need the contrast. That's all you need. Get that contrast. And I don't mean contrast paint.
Oh, it's still good paint.
I mean,
is all
colour
I'm saying.
theory.
I mean
The colour
colour.
theory.
You know, it needs to look. You need to have that light and dark contrast so that you see the depth. You exaggerate the depth, and you can see it from. And they'll look great from a distance, and you'll be proud of them.
Thanks, bud.
Just do the work. Do the work.
Do the work. Do the work. I'm going to win the best painting next year. That's my plan. That's
Got
my
to go
plan.
to an event though.
Are you going to get it commissioned like your favourite content creators out there?
Yeah.
Show off your best painted award at an invitational tournament, and then not tag the person that painted the army for you. Definitely, you should do that.
I'll do that. Tom, any hollers?
I'd like to shout out the new list we have coming out. So we've got the T Sports Network, we've got the Honest Wargamer, and we've got the Honest Wargamer Commission Painting Service. I'd like to shout that out for,
Is it us four? Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. 3 of us are going to really be.
I have a waiting list of about 6 years.
I was going to say.
Hey, this service, you like sometimes like when you send a commissioned painter your army, you want them to take their time to do it properly, but you also want it quickly so you can go to that event.
Yeah.
But if you want your commissioned painter to take the most time to make your army look awesome, send us your army. We can't promise you'd ever receive it back, but send us your army and we will paint it, and it will look awesome.
So is it like gold, silver, and like the top tier is like crystal?
Adamantium.
Yeah.
No. They're all like different shades of like translucent to transparent because you never see them again.
Yeah. You'll never see it again.
Yeah.
So coming soon from us. John, anyone?
Send us your armies, please.
I would like to shout out Fletcher Paints because that is a great commission painter that doesn't get enough credit.
Who is that? Okay, great. Me too. I'm going to shout out him.
Paints the
Sure, I'm googling that.
Who's he shoot?
Nice.
Who's he painting for?
He paints for the great list creators out there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. If we keep shouting him out, can we get all our armies?
He won't take commissions anymore as well because
he's too busy.
He works exclusively for them.
Wow.
Over there.
Wow.
I mean,
he's a Brizzle boy for painting.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to
He does
him.
do. I discovered him because he was doing up Flesh Terror stuff, and then I found.
Oh, gorgeous
yeah,
stuff.
that's really
wasn't
good. His armor is sick.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that white on that apothecary.
He has the perfect balance of speed and contrast. If you look up close at what he's doing, he does a sensational airbrush blend, and then the contrast of the edge highlight really makes it pop, but it's fast as well. The method, I know that he paints very quickly for a lot of this stuff, and that is for me the pinnacle of commission painting.
Tabletop plus.
Yes.
Yeah, the perfect name for a commission painter. Okay, great. All right. Love you three. I'm shouting you three out. It's been a great time. Yeah. Mwah. Au revoir. Bye.